New York City's racetrack, Aqueduct in Queens. What better place to spend the final Sunday of 2025? Enter Bernie Takes Charge. This is where she thrives, a four-time winner on this track, seeking a fifth in the Bay Ridge Stakes. And in Hot Springs, Arkansas, Oaklawn Park, trainer Tom Ames saddled the winner of the Friday feature, standout sensation, winning the Pippin. Her stablemate runs today. Moto's the name. Heavy favorite in the Oaklawn Anywhere Overnight Stakes. So glad you could join us on FS1. This is America's Day at the Races. Look at that. Live look, the Big A winding down 2025 at Aqueduct Racetrack, off and running this Sunday afternoon. Started hours ago, but the best racing is still ahead. Alongside Aqueduct's all-time leading jockey, Richie Migliore, I'm Lafitte Pinkai. Just 2 racing days left in New York this year, Richie. And while, like most titles have already been decided, there is one coming right down to the finish. Yeah,
the jockey title for the Eclipse Award this year is a heated and closely contested battle between the reigning champion Flavien Prat and Irad Ortiz, who has several Eclipse Awards to his credit. Irad leading by about $400,000 in earnings starting the day. He has leading rider as far as number of wins wrapped up, Irad does. But looking at how they're mounted, today Irad is out in California for their opening day at Santa Anita, and he looks very well mounted. Flavien is here. He's got good mounts, but if Irad has a good day out there, I think he puts himself out of reach. But I like when these races are close and they're contested. You know, when it's a foregone conclusion with a few weeks left in the year, it's nice, it's a great accomplishment. But for 2 riders to go over $40 million in purses and be battling all the way to the end, it's almost incomprehensible to me.
And for Flavien Prat, the 4 wins here yesterday out west at Santa Anita for their opening day program as well. So lots going on. Live coverage from Oaklawn Park, Aqueduct right here. Today's races brought to you by Claiborne Farm, 100 years doing the usual unusually well. Aqueduct 4 races remain the late pick 4, including that aforementioned Bay Ridge. Oaklawn Park, the pick 6 or class 6 begins in the 5th. Race 8, the Oaklawn Anywhere Overnight Stakes. So much great racing to watch. All the more fun to watch and wager. Sign up today, NYRABets.com. Get involved, bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NYRABets.com. Sign up. Take advantage of this $200 deposit match bonus code, bonus200. Enjoy betting on over 300 tracks around the world. Start winning today. Join now, NYRABets.com. Field for the 7th Aqueduct, $30,000 claimers, non-winners to lifetime. It means they're all for sale. It means they're one for something. 6 furlong sprint on this blustery Sunday, temperature in the low 30s. But the racing continues, and there are the 7 runners with a wide open wagering affair, Richie. New York Scrappy, Mo, Go, both at 3-1.
This is a very contentious race. I think you can throw a blanket over this field, and every time I handicap it, I'm kind of gravitating towards someone different. You've got Mo Go, who makes a lot of sense here, comes off a decent effort at the same level, returns as a gelding. I thought Skytown was interesting on the drop-in class as well, the 3.
Interesting based on his last victory. This was 3 starts ago. If he can run back to this effort, it was in February, a maiden score. Richie, Skytown, who just keeps digging, fighting, and fending off all challengers.
Yeah, he just kind of stays on, right? He doesn't quicken, he doesn't, fold. He just doggedly maintains. And I think he gets a good setup here because the horse directly inside of him, King Phoenix, has a lot of speed. Last time, high speed at Finger Lakes. There's your pacemaker. Follow him, set up your trip around a horse that probably will have a bit more speed, but still get forward position.
See what he does on this afternoon, Skytown. Competitive. 7th race coming up, start of the late pick 4, and we welcome in Maggie Wolfendale to the broadcast, standing by in the paddock. Maggie, observing the sprinters, what can you tell us?
Well, Lafitte, I agree with you guys. It does feel like a wide open affair here. And honestly, as I handicap this race, my opinions have now changed a bit looking at them all. Now, Mo Go is one I want to actually watch warm up, as horses do note aren't hitting the track until about 3 minutes to post. But I'll check in with a horse that I actually really liked on paper. That's number 6, Spirit Dragon. I thought he ran well in defeat, chasing behind Shadow Surge last time out. He was on the far out outside, 2 back here, and a figure that would definitely be competitive here at this level. He'll go first off the claim for Fernando Abreu, and while he's always kind of been a bit of a slighter framed horse, I just wish he looked a little bit more comfortable here in the paddock overall. He actually looks better than what he did. He looks better under tack than what he did under the blanket. We'll put it that way. Just looks a little bit girthy overall, but I wish he'd done some developing. I wish he'd filled out just a bit more here as a late 3-year-old. Now, a horse I wasn't expecting to like, or one that I could really make that big of a case for on paper, is number 1, Lean Music Machine, who got the job done in start number 15 last time out, though, as he went back to the barn of Bill Morey, he dominated that field. But the thing is that generally speaking, when a horse wins at maiden 20, I think the next logical step is more like a 17-5 non-2 life as opposed to this 30. But maybe it indicates that the horse is doing well. At least that's what he's showing me here in the paddock. He came in on the muscle, forward engaged here, striding out well. And he just looks resplendent. For this time of year, horses tend to kind of lose some conditioning, definitely will lose the richness and hydration of their coat. That is not the case whatsoever here with Lean Music Machine. We'll see if Ruben Silvera can go back-to-back here on this Aqueduct card, Lafitte.
Looks the part, says Maggie. On paper, perhaps a little deep. Handicapper's not concerned. Lean Music Machine, 3-1 tepid choice. There's Spirit Dragon at 5-1. Revisiting his most recent, early December, is the same level. He was favored here, Richie, but just leaves himself a lot to do in the stretch.
Yeah, he does. And he came with a resolute and steady gain, and it was a fastly run race, They wound up finishing up 3/4 and 10 flat, and he was the only horse gaining on the winner at the end. He did get claimed by a Fernando Abreu from John Kimmel, waited the amount of time that he needed to run back at the same level. Normally you have to go up in class, but after 30 days you're allowed to run back to the same level.
Now, watching yesterday's races, felt like a very fair racetrack here at Aqueduct. Watching the first 6 races today, have you noticed, has anything jumped out?
It doesn't feel like there's any kind of a bias or one way I'm leading. It just feels like the best horse is able to get their trip and run their race.
Touched on this yesterday. Some of our viewers may not have heard your observations and just some of the bigger challenges for riders in these conditions, riding it in 20-plus degree weather, 30 degrees.
Well, you can make your weight with equipment about 3 pounds of equipment. That doesn't include if you're starting to wear warmer clothing. So if you've got horses with lighter weights, you just better be prepared to be a little bit cold out there.
Can't just bundle up till comfortable. A Lean Music Machine. Can he go back-to-back after graduating in his 15th career start? A King Phoenix, the quick gelding, idle since June.
Has high speed, would expect for him to be on the lead early.
Skytown for sale for the first time.
I think just getting into a spot where he belongs for the claiming 30, and I think he's going to sit a good trip with the blinkers off.
New York Scrappy. Manny Franco seeking a 3rd win this afternoon.
Yeah, dropping down in class also and does add speed to the affair.
Solo Dancing, number 5, outsider. He's been sprinting at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, it just feels like he's going to have to translate or do better than that Finger Lakes form.
Spirit Dragon at 4-1 pictured.
Very logical. Ran extremely well last time and was gaining on the winner late. I think he gets as much pace today.
Number 7, Mo Go, idle since Saratoga.
Yeah, comes back with that makeover, right? He's first-time gelding and a horse that should be lurking from just off the pace.
Number 8, Red Miller, Overlay, a softest company he's yet to face.
Another one, and kind of a complementing style to the other John Terranova runner. Skytown should be more forward. Red Miller, I think, will be coming from a bit more off the pace. Always nice, even though different ownership, when 2 horses from the same stable have complementing styles.
It's not a stakes race, right? These aren't top-level horses, just $30,000 claimers who have never won 2 races, but you get this crew together that fit this restriction, non-winners 2 lifetime, all won for something, and you wind up with a very competitive heat.
This is a really competitive race. Honestly, no horse would actually surprise me winning here. And you know what? I love when people say, well, lower-level races. Tell that groom that's up 4 o'clock in the morning with the horse how important this race is, right?
Mo Go there. Whose rider has impressed you?
Yeah, Sahin Savachi, just a real nice rider, has been one of Canada's leading riders for over the last several years. Was a little unlucky last year. Came here, started making a nice impression, and he was injured. Came back this year, started to make a nice impression, and was injured, but he made it back very, very quick, and he's riding in very good form.
We check it with Maggie.
Yeah, let's take a look here at the horses that are taking the most money as of now, including number 4. That is New York Scrappy. Now, he's a horse that I think makes the most sense on paper. This is a horse that 2-back finally broke his maiden, though most of us thought he was more of a turf horse. But he did break his maiden when dropping to the 50 for the first time. Then they tested the waters in a starter allowance. Not quite good enough for that. So I think, as I said, when you break your maiden for we do have a loose horse on the racetrack right now. Oh, God, I wish my contacts were working better. It's either the 5 or the 3. I think it's the 5. Let me double check. Yes, it is the 5. So loose horse apprehended by our excellent outriders. That again, I wish I could see better. I can't make out who it is at the moment. So yes, number 5, Solo Dancing, was briefly loose here. I would say ran about a quarter of a mile and went straight to the outriders. So a good catch there. Will bring you updates whether he runs or not. As we'll get back to number 4, New York Scrappy. Like I said, when a horse breaks his maiden for a certain amount, I always think, well, and step down in claiming price is usually warranted unless they run some supersonic fast race when winning and breaking their maiden. But, New York Scrappy, I think he fits very well with this crew here. And furthermore, he looks the part. I mean, Chris Engelhart, as he takes over training with this Gary Barber owned horse, I think is just being very logical. And he, as I think we head to post time, will remain your favorite and really ultimately should be, as the very slight second choice is number 6 in here, Spirit Dragon. But let's talk about Mo Go. He's a horse that returns as a gelding. Now, he was a late scratch going back to, I believe, that August of this past year. And he was never a horse that, carried excess weight or looked as though he needed to be, lightened up with a gelding. I think it was more of a movement thing, and a movement thing behind, especially because he was still just a touch sticky behind, as we do see Sahin Savachi giving him a very big and brisk warm-up. And he's moving better, and I like what I'm seeing from him. And if anything, as he comes back off of a layoff here, Lafitte, he looks really strong. So I do think he's a logical type. It still feels as though they're trying to find his identity, and whether or not he's kind of that true 6 furlong horse, I would lean towards him being a bit better, a bit longer.
The 3/4 of a mile too sharp, Mo Go. We'll see. Trainer Linda Rice setting the record for a trainer most wins in a single season in 1 year on the NYRA circuit. Already with 1 win this afternoon. Mo Go, where do you expect him to be situated early on?
Well, I think he'll be lurking just off the pace. He's at least drawn outside the other speeds, which I think will include the 4 New York Scrappy, the 2 King Phoenix, certainly. Skytown should be lurking right in behind them, but I think it gives Mo Go that opportunity to kind of work out that outside, more of an outside stalking type trip.
Solo Dancing was loose, apprehended quickly. Jose Lascano back aboard for the uninitiated. How is that determination, how is that decision made as far as whether or not a horse will compete after getting loose pre-race?
Well, I think the 2 most important things is how far did they go? How far did they run off without a rider? Obviously, he didn't go that far. It looked about a quarter of a mile before he was apprehended. He was probably going to warm up that much anyway. And as long as they didn't run into anything. When they're loose, a horse sometimes will just kind of almost lose their bearings and could run into another horse, the outside rail, any number of things. So obviously he did this pretty cleanly, and he was apprehended quickly enough where they felt like it didn't compromise his chances.
How common or uncommon is that? How often were you dropped pre-race and then given a leg back up, rode the horse and wound up in the winner's circle.
Well, a few times. I can't recall, a bunch of specifics other than a filly one day here, a 2-year-old filly dropped me, ran off. I thought they were going to scratch her. They brought her back to the gate. I was questioning the wisdom of the examining veterinarian, probably because I didn't want to get back on that keg of dynamite, and then she went wire to wire.
Just do what you do, mate. Go out and win races at Aqueduct. It worked out nicely. We'll see how this one unfolds with the start of the late pick 4 and New York Scrappy, number 4. Who is 5-2. Manny Franco looking for a 3rd win on the afternoon. Chris Griffin, load and call. Post time the 7th from the Big A, live on FS1.
Mogo, New York Scrappy. Red Miller, last to load. Red Miller. Goes in. All set. And they're off. Mogo has speed towards the outside. Mogo and Spirit Dragon, these two hook up early. Joining them is New York Scrappy in that early mix, and they go after it on the front end. Spirit Dragon now with a head in front. New York Scrappy holding the rail position in tight, now backs off. Just out wider is Mogo. The front trio have put 3.5, almost 4 on Skytown, who's in 4th, is followed by King Phoenix outside. From the back there, Solo Dancing, Lean Music Machine, and Red Miller are the trailers. 22.27. They are zipping up front, and the leader is Spirit Dragon. Here to the outside comes a challenge from Mogo. New York Scrappy switched to the outside, and here come the closers. Skytown in pursuit from 4th. Red Miller, a ground-saving journey, is at the rail, trying to find more and keep going. Jamie Rodriguez on Spirit Dragon, and they're finding plenty so far. Red Miller has been making the sustained rally, but running out of real estate as they approach this final furlong. Spirit Dragon just keeps on going. Lean Music Machine, Grandstand side, Skytown, Red Miller. They're all chasing this runaway front-end winner. Spirit Dragon was best today. Photo here for 2nd. There's Mogo and a photo with Lean Music Machine. Red Miller's in there with Skytown at 1 minute 10.10 seconds.
Exiting a fast heat, Spirit Dragon takes him all the way in the 7th at Aqueduct.
Boy, talking about an aggressive ride from Jamie Rodriguez. First time out for Fernando Abreu, Spirit Dragon. Now, I thought the 2 might be part of the pace. It looked like he might have missed the break, and Jamie Rodriguez sent Spirit Dragon. He just kept finding. This was a really nice effort off the claim, and I've been impressed with Jamie Rodriguez. Lafitte really has developed and matured as a rider from the last time he tried New York as an apprentice.
That happens from time to time with younger riders trying a bigger circuit once and a little bit deep, but there are lessons to be learned in the experience riding with top-class riders. These jockeys will go elsewhere and a little bit more experience, and upon return, have a bigger impact and win more races.
Well, absolutely. Experience is critical. You have to be in a position where you've seen every situation in a race. You almost can anticipate what's going to happen before it happens, and he's making a really, really strong impression.
6, 7, 1, 3, 7th race Aqueduct, horses 3, 4, 6, 8 claimed. Much more from New York. Much more from Oaklawn Park, and star jockey Louis Sayas' first full season at Oaklawn. Starting to get things going. Swept the late double yesterday, some live mounts today, including a date with Moto in the Oaklawn Anywhere Stakes. Welcome back. America's Day at the Races on FS1, brought to you in part by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. 'Tis the season. Happy holidays to you and yours from all of us on America's Day at the Races. Not too far from Central Park, here at New York City's racetrack, Aqueduct, winding down this Sunday program. And for Jamie Rodriguez and Spirit Dragon, giving this field a slip, and back-to-back wins on the program for Rodriguez.
Second win of the day, and aggressive handling here with a horse that he was riding for the first time. That was making his first start for Fernando Abreu off the claim. Spirit Dragon, he just did not weaken. He just kept finding. Nice effort from Mogo, who was poised from the outside. The one that disappointed. Oh, and the horse that Maggie talked about, Lean Music Man, at a decent price. Outran his odds, ran extremely well. I was a little bit disappointed with Skytown. I thought he set up in a perfect spot. There was a pretty, strong scramble for the lead, and he was in the right spot, just kind of one-paced.
And again, the 3 horses, 3, 4, 6, 8 claimed out of the 7th race. Aqueduct awaiting those results. Also, live racing coming up from Oaklawn Park, including the feature, a stakes race every day in this holiday meet. Oaklawn Anywhere Stakes shapes up as follows. Bachelor Party is out. Moto number 6 with Louis Sy as the 8-5 morning line favorite, trained by Tom Amos, as we welcome Megan Burgess to the broadcast. Standing by at Oaklawn. And Megan, Moto, why has she been installed as this heavy 8-5 favorite in the Sunday feature?
Well, her speed has been her game, as she is fast. She kind of resembles that quarter horse type speed. She is a quick filly, and she's one that is coming back into stakes company. She surely looks ominous as far as this group is concerned, but she is going to have some company on the front end here as we take a look at her winning at Churchill Downs last time out, where it was a decent group. It was a short field, and I find that she just ran this field off of their feet. She's one that didn't really get pressured all that much on the front end that day, and she ran well, drawing off nicely to be able to capture that victory, and one that I just don't find today is going to have the same kind of trip. Now, she's one that was attempted to rate 2 back, and it just wasn't exactly as fluid as far as the trips are concerned. So I think she's got some sure speed to her outside in the way of the number 10, the number 7 here in this group. So we'll see how she fares in terms of the pressure up front. But Tom Amos having an absolutely sensational Oaklawn Park with some stakes wins thus far. We'll see if she can handle that pressure up front.
The win in the Pippin on Friday for trainer Tom Amos. Moto, Richie, does the race stack up to you in such that the win in this race goes through her?
Well, absolutely. I mean, she just runs consistently faster figures than the majority of this field. The problem is just what Megan talked about, though. I think she's going to have a lot of company on the front end, and she hasn't really shown that she's as successful when she doesn't make the running. She may make the running, but she may have to work a bit hard for it.
Oaklawn Anywhere Stakes, you'll see it right here on FS1 as our coverage continues on this Sunday afternoon in Oaklawn Racing. Look, it was getting dark behind Megan there.
Yeah, it looked a little cloudy,
A little bit. It's been unseasonably warm in Hot Springs, in the low 70s yesterday. Let's hope the weather holds off, if in fact inbound, for the remainder of this Sunday program, and we meet the field for this 4th race. You're looking at 3 Technique at 5-1.
Old class horse, now trained by the Cantermasis, earned over $1.2 million. I always thought of him more as a closing sprinter, Lafitte.
This is once owned by Bill Parcells, a former runner-up in the Smarty Jones. You saw Neon Knights, and there's Tracking Error, a former Chad Brown trainee.
And comes off a big effort here at Aqueduct at 1 1/8, and he should set up a good trip just off the pace.
Sees the night, idle since May, now with Dallas Stewart, followed by Duke of Duval. The Asmussen milestone watch continues.
It comes off a nice effort at Churchill Downs, and it's inevitable he's going to get to that 1,000-win mark there.
Black Powder, 3-time winner, all at Oaklawn.
His record at Oaklawn stands out, 3 for 6 at Oaklawn.
We'll see Black Powder, another look there, Duke of Duval. And number 8, Dr. Storm, and look out for him in the stretch.
He is a deep closer. He has one way to go, and has a bit of a winning habit too, but does he get the pace that's going to help his late run?
Number 9, number 1 dude, 2nd at 2 for trainer Dallas Stewart.
Well, he's dropping out of stakes company at Remington. Just feels like he's going to have to run a little bit faster than we've ever seen from him before.
The runners in the 4th Oaklawn Park allowance, $62,500 allowance, optional claimer mile, and a 16th. Right back to Megan. And 3 technique, Megan. Yes, it's been a while, but once a second place finisher in the Smarty Jones, once owned by Bill Parcells.
Yes, this is a hard-knocking millionaire now with the Cantermossy barn, and catching up with Mercton Cantermossy is one that big distance question, right? Is this going to be his get as far as the mile and a 16th is concerned? He's kind of been that closing sprinter where previously with Jason Cook, he's one I was a bit more familiar with in Kentucky when I was there, and he's one that you just got to let him give him his head, settle, and make one run. That is his game, and I find that I don't find the extra additional half furlong is going to be overzealous for him. I just had questions in this group, especially breaking from the inside, one that, as we mentioned, is kind of that deeper closer. I wonder if he's going to be able to kind of make that one run. That's the big question. And he is 0 for 2 here at Oaklawn Park. He's got some decent runs here, and he's been training pretty well per his connection. So we'll see how he handles the distance. I had no issues with him physically as he's been kind of racing consistently there. But the number 3 tracking error, first off, the purchase, I should say, there at the Keeneland Horses of Racing Age sale, now with Greg Compton, formerly with Chad Brown, a very difficult barn to take any horse out of, as he was one that I found his identity was pretty unclear what kind of horse he was. Ran that huge race last time out with that 92 Beyer speed figure, and he was kind of acting up a bit, a little distracted, shorter couple type, so I find that this cutback should suit him a bit, just a little bit off of that 9 furlong first off their freshening. But I kind of wanted to take a shot in this group with the number 2 at Neon Lights for the Jordan Blair barn, one that has just been running really consistent numbers on par with this group, and I found that he could potentially be the controlling speed here. I do understand he got headed when kind of setting those glacial fractions up front last time out, but he looked fantastic physically. He's fit, he's athletic, and I wanted to go with the price with some unknowns that I thought were a little unclear in this competitive allowance field, Lafitte.
Neon Knights, Megan's top selection, should be a factor early. And Richie, for you, tracking error coming off that big win right here at Aqueduct.
Yeah, Megan makes a good point. Tough to improve off of somebody like Chad Brown, but on the flip side of that, you know you're getting a horse out of that barn that has been well cared for and should be in overall good health. And sometimes they just respond into a new barn. Things change a little bit.
Career best effort, tracking error. See what he does in his Oaklawn debut. They're off.
All the gray broke alertly, is taking back, not quick enough to go to the front. Number 1 Dude is number 1 early, but Neon Knights will have none of that, and Neon Knights goes to the front. Number 1 Dude concedes the lead second going into the turn. 3 Technique third down on the inside. Duke of Duval, the gray horse, 4th ahead of Tracking Error on restraint early, then Seize the Night, Black Powder to the outside, and Dr. Storms the tail while outside, and he's 7 lengths behind. 3/4 of a mile to go. Neon Knights, Jaime Torres, the leader here, just a narrow margin. Number 1 Dude on the outside, pressing the pace with Julian Leperoux. They're 3 clear now of 3 Technique. Duke of Duval, they run as a pair. Another 2 to another duo. Tracking Error inside of Black Powder. Seize the Night, isolated in the second last position. 5 or 6 ahead of Dr. Storm, who will attempt to do his best running later as they hit the half-mile pole. Neon Knights, still a narrow lead. Number 1 Dude right there to the outside. 3 Technique, 2 behind. Nickel along a little bit from third going into the turn. Duke of Duval still alongside of him. Space of 3. Black Powder under a little pressure. Seize the Night getting a little bit closer. He's 7 behind now. Tracking Error has given way, and Dr. Storm still well behind as they come to the top of the stretch. Neon Knights under a ride now. Number 1 Dude alongside. Duke of Duval in the 3 path gaining ground. 3 Technique is struggling in 4th coming off the turn down the lane. Duke of Duval gets a good trip. Here he comes outside of number 1 Dude. Duke of Duval with a furlong to go is collared number 1 Dude in this final furlong. Duke of Duval in front. Number 1 Dude a half length behind, but he's coming back at him. Duke of Duval, number 1 Dude trying. Duke of Duval, Steve Asmussen with 1,000 Oaklawn victories. Number 1 Dude second. Seize the Night third. Dr. Storm 4th.
North America's all-time leading trainer, Steve Asmussen, and a moment he won't soon forget as he saddles his 1,000th career winner at Oaklawn Park with his son Eric in the saddle. Duke of Duval in the 4th at Oaklawn. Wow.
That is, wow, not just to get to that milestone, but to do it with your son aboard the horse. Just really absolutely incredible. Also for a longtime client of Steve's and Mike Rutherford, and Duke Val gets it done in a very game performance. I'm seeing a lot of Cash Asmussen, Eric Asmussen's uncle's influence in his riding.
How so?
With the way he's been using his crop, a little bit of his hand ride, he's showing a little bit more of that style. Not just, winning, but winning with style, right? In New York, we used to call it winning with personality. I think he must be watching a lot of tape of Uncle Cash.
It looks pretty.
Much prettier than, he
pretty.
just keeps improving.
Yeah, and keeps winning. And for Steve Asmussen, this is what he does. Shatters records, achieves milestones. The 1000th win at Oaklawn, the 5th racetrack Steve Asmussen has saddled at least 1,000 winners.
We were talking about it yesterday, Lafitte. A lot of trainers, 1,000 wins in a career would be a stellar career. It's 1,000 wins in each jurisdiction for him.
And to do it with his son in the saddle, Megan, with Steve Asmussen live at Oaklawn.
Well, I got the first scrap with the man of the hour here in trainer, Steve Asmussen. And, what a milestone. 1,000 career wins here at Oaklawn. And to do it with Eric aboard has to be even the more special.
Very much so. Nice horse, Duke of Duval, Rutherford homebred that win it in a nice race. Oaklawn's been unbelievable to the stable for a long time, and hopefully it continues to.
Well, the memories here, not only brilliant, you're one of the most brilliant minds in the game, but as far as a family perspective, having the boys involved and being able to do this alongside them, how has that kind of made things, what are the memories there for you in terms of that?
It's a wonderful thing. It's how I grew up. I grew up in a barn. My mom trained, my dad rode. Cash, we got old enough rode. They even gave me a shot at it. So the tradition continues, and I couldn't be more proud of it.
Well, congratulations here, Steve. 1,000 more.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Lafitte.
Not out of the realm of possibility, the way Asmussen continues to win races, and his family, the Asmussen family, among the most very prominent, not just in horse racing, but as horsemen and women.
Incredible horsemanship that runs through that family, and that was something I recognized early on. I was privileged to ride with Cash when I was an apprentice, and he was coming off his Eclipse Award winning apprentice year, and it is a family affair. They've dedicated their lives to not only horses but racing, and I can't come up with another family that has done it as well. There's a lot of tremendous racing families. Boy, you got to think they're close to the summit.
And to do this, wife by his side, son in the saddle, and I think this wasn't the original plan. A jockey. Hard to believe now. See, a jockey to begin his career in racing, but as it stands, North America's all-time leading trainer in 1,000 wins at Oaklawn. Here at Aqueduct, as you can see, horses in the paddock for the feature. We check in with Maggie.
Thanks, Lafitte, as we will take a look here at one of the two likely post-time favorites. The interesting thing about this race is that both of them have speed. Now, Bernie Takes Charge, as we'll take a look at her here in the paddock. You could say that the argument could be made that she's one that her speed is best used when going around 2 turns, as this is the 1-turn mile. But she has shown an ability to be effective around the 1 turn, obviously winning the Heavenly Prize. Granted, that was on a very speed-aided racetrack, but she always has the demeanor of a horse that wants to be aggressive, that wants to be forward, and that's what I'm seeing here with her. But she's actually keeping it controlled today, which I like to see. And furthermore, physically, I think this is one of the best times I've ever seen her appear. Her coat's great. She's not hot, washy, or nervous. Conditioning is at the peak and prime that you would want from a horse, especially at this time of year. So she does have a more advantageous draw than the other favorite in here, Landed, who's currently even money. Landed's hand's a little bit forced, but granted, maybe she's a little bit more naturally fast, having competed at more shorter distances consistently. So I do really like what I'm seeing from Bernie Takes Charge. I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't expecting having a like for number 3 Atlantis Queen, because honestly, she does this one race that makes her slightly fringe competitor here for Gary Capuano, who's enjoying a fantastic year, but mainly in Maryland and the Mid-Atlantic. But as she comes in here, great coat on her. Physically, she fits very well with this crew that we see her taking on and competing against New York breds. So while she's gotten a little hot here, like I said, she's fairly aggressive in the way that she's acting, and one that should be forwardly and just off the pace here. I do like what I'm seeing from her, Lafitte. At least she ticks the box from the physical standpoint.
Let's see if she performs accordingly. Atlantis Queen. Maybe she knows what her mother did in this race back in 2018. A runner-up in the Bay Ridge Stakes. Atlantis Queen, and Jill Sanchez in the saddle as we get set to meet the field for this Sunday feature at Aqueduct. Bay Ridge, $125,000 purse. There's 5 to 2, 8 races since Saratoga, all at Finger Lakes.
Yeah, and she just would have to run faster than she's ever run in her life to be competitive here. She'd be a surprise.
Landed, Sahin Savachi in the Barbaro colors.
Consistently faster figures than the majority of the field, and she should be forward. She has speed.
Aforementioned Atlantis Queen.
I like her, and there's some interesting things going on here. We'll dig deeper, but first time ever competing against New York bred, her New York bred herself.
You like her. Maggie loved what she saw. There's solo shot, second at 30 to 1 in the Staten Island.
Yeah, big effort there at a big price. Can she follow that up, back that up? But she does have races at times to be competitive.
Bernie Takes Charge, Critical Eye winner, Belmont Week at Saratoga.
I'm a big fan of Bernie Takes Charge, but I think she's going to have a lot of company up front, and that's how she likes to roll.
Number 6, Cupid's Heart, Manny Franco won yesterday's feature, the Queen's County with full screen.
Consistent, hard-knocking mare by Cupid, who always has a little trouble getting out of the gate.
Fast and Frisky, number 7, claim from Jorge Abreu by Brad Cox.
Yeah, first time for Brad Cox, something you got to pay attention to, certainly. And I think we'll appreciate turning back from that mile and an eighth around 2 turns to the 1 turn and gets that advantageous outside post.
New York bred fillies and mares, a mile. Bay Ridge Stakes, warm-up continues. Atlantis Queen, another look at her, and you can expand a little bit on the angles that you saw working for Atlantis Queen.
Well, like Maggie liked what she saw in the paddock. I love what I'm seeing on the racetrack. I love the way she's framing up, the way she's using herself. She has never competed against New York breds, and she's a New York bred. So this is her first try against New York breds. She's coming off the biggest effort of her life. Now, it is a little bit of an outlier. Maggie talked about that. But look at on the November 6th, the workout, a mile in 1:42 and a fifth. 9 days later, she wins, runs the best race for life, wins going a mile and a 16th. Well, 8 days before today's race, she works a mile. You don't see horses work miles anymore. That's a real old school kind of move. But the pattern, it worked last time, and a similar pattern, getting that mile work. And boy, she looks like she is really relishing the work that Gary Capuano is putting into her.
Going back to the well, that formula, that same approach. Let's see if it produces the same dividend with Atlantis Queen. Another look at Landed, who is the even money favorite. John Velasquez scheduled to ride. Sahin Savachi in those Lale Stable Barbaro colors. Are you surprised that she's the heavy favorite that she is?
Yeah, I'm actually not surprised, Lafitte, because she does consistently run just a little bit faster than everybody else. The problem is you have Landed, who to me is confirmed speed. And then you got Bernie Takes Charge, who is confirmed speed.
Yep.
You've got the even money favorite and the 5 to 2 second choice, and that's when you get speed duels. Because you have to respect your other rivals so much you can't let them get away, and that's when things heat up in the middle of the race.
Landed, Maggie, what are you noticing pre-race?
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about Landed for the fact that I just thought that her main rival in here, Bernie Takes Charge, actually looked so much better than her, and Landed, lacks that recency. She's coming off of a layoff dating back to September when she tried the turf, and maybe she is naturally fastest and she'll just control this race from start to finish. But she kind of has that long drab coat to her, and usually when horses get a little hot, and considering it's so cold here, it's just usually an indication of needing a start. Now, she has run very well off of similar layoffs in the past, so she's shown the ability to overcome that. It's just kind of what I'm observing on the day. Like I said, I do feel as though she's the horse to beat, but I felt as though she could be vulnerable with the layoff, and the fact that Bernie Takes Charge just, I thought, looked exceptional on this particular occasion. As we'll take a look here at Cupid's Heart, who I feel like her entire career, she's been knocking on the door of stakes company, but has just yet to get there and be competitive in these stakes. As you've seen, you know, in the Johnstone Mile, in the Iroquois, she just doesn't show up when there's a name next to the particular race. But I thought her last race was really good. Even though it was in defeat, she finally broke. And when horses start to break, it usually indicates they're doing well. And that was reflected in what I observed from her physically today, Lafitte.
Cupid's Heart, Manny Franco, already 2 wins this afternoon, looking for stakes victories on back-to-back days at Aqueduct. Quickly, Richie, the key to the start, what are you looking for right from the beginning?
Well, I think it's really going to depend on if the 2 Landed and the 5 Bernie Takes Charge do actually hook up early on. So you want to see them get away clean and then see what decisions the riders make. But breaking clean is always most important.
Post time for the Sunday feature. Bay Ridge Stakes filing into the gate. Landed 6-5 at post time. Here's Chris Griffin.
Christopher Elliott in Fast and Frisky. Fast and Frisky goes in, all set for the Bay Ridge. And they're off. Broken a good line and Landed with the speed right out to the front. It's Landed who's quickly up by a full length now, and here comes Bernie Takes Charge. They're the top duo, and Bernie Takes Charge, moves in closer, is going to challenge for that early lead. Out wider comes Fast and Frisky as they come out of the chute, hook up with the backstretch, and they are head and head, and Landed is in front. Landed with Bernie Takes Charge, not going anywhere, is going right with the pace setter. Out wider still Fast and Frisky. In between horses, here comes Solo Shot with at the rail, Atlantis Queen. The gray, Cupid's Heart, is second to last, 3.5 off the lead. And the lone trailer, 5-2, 22-4 for that opening quarter mile, and it's pressured. Bernie Takes Charge to the outside of Landed, and these 2 hook up here, less than a half mile to go, 45.59. Honest Fractions on the front end, and just off of them comes Solo Shot. Then Fast and Frisky, Cupid's Heart has started a move, and Cupid's Heart takes an inside route. Manny Franco makes that quick move towards the inside, is about to take third, and coming after the top duo. Landed, trying to dispatch up. Bernie Takes Charge right to the outside, not going anywhere. It's a ground-saving trip for Cupid's Heart, who's making up ground. It's these 3 right now at the top of the stretch. Landed finding plenty so far. Bernie Takes Charge won't go away, and here comes Bernie Takes Charge right to the outside of Landed. Bernie Takes Charge is now in front. Bernie Takes Charge back to second. Landed. Cupid's Heart trying one more time. Bernie Takes Charge is looking for the line. Here comes Cupid's Heart. Here comes Fast and Frisky. Bernie Takes Charge won the Bay Ridge. Bernie Takes Charge wins it over Cupid's Heart, Landed, and Fast and Frisky at 1 minute 37.77 seconds.
It's what she does on this track. Bernie Takes Charge, 5th career victory, Aqueduct, puts away Landed, and wins going away to take down this Bay Ridge Stakes.
And what a nice effort from Bernie Takes Charge. She earned it. She had a fight with Landed early. We got the speed duel we anticipated. Those were fast fractions, and she just kept finding, puts Landed away. Good call by Maggie. Cupid's Heart, what a nice trip. Broke better today, rallied up the inside, but Bernie Takes Charge. This was maybe her best and gamest effort to date. Congratulations to Robert Rosenthal as well as Brad Bernstein. She was raised at Jan Derschmidt's Indigo Farm, about 15 minutes from where I live.
Dishing out heat. She can take it as well. Bernie Takes Charge in that scenario with Landed and with Bernie Takes Charge. And for the riders, when you're side by side, you know you're going quick. What's the thought process as far as how aggressive you should continue to be and when it might be time to ease back a little bit and concede?
Well, I think all the pressure in this instance was on Ruben Silvera on Bernie Takes Charge because he's outside of Landed. He's a little bit more in control of how much pressure he applies or backs off. but it's a tightrope. You don't want to give Landed too easy of a time. You don't want to give her too hard of a time because then you're ripe to get picked off. He rode that tightrope or walked that line perfectly.
Bernie takes a charge. Winning trainer Dominic Schettino, Ruben Silveira puts him away, draws away late. Bernie takes charge. 5-time winner Aqueduct and a Bay Ridge Stakes winner results when we come back.
$1,600,000, thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing. Get expert picks. Boost your bankroll with weekly promotions and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
In racing, bloodlines are kingdoms, and every kingdom needs an heir. Sired by Uncle Mo, Kingsbarns was chosen for greatness. An $800,000 two-year-old built like an empire. He defeated champion Arcangelo on debut, dominated the Louisiana Derby in his third start, and achieved a defining victory in the Grade 1 Stephen Foster. Kingsbarns, where the line of kings continues.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away. When you want to reward yourself. When you deserve to indulge. When you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing starts December 12th. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs. And come join the fun.
You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 1, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm, 100 years doing the usual, unusually well. She would not be phased. Bernie takes charge, hooking up with the favorite Landed. Head-to-head, nose-to-nose up the backstretch, but Bernie takes charge, puts away Landed, goes on to win this Bay Ridge Stakes. Winner Circle lead-in brought to you by the Fasig-Tipton Kentucky Winter Mix Sale. Scheduled for February 9th in Lexington. Enter now at FasigTipton.com. Tough filly, talented filly, fast filly, Richie.
Yeah, and she is, when she runs her A race, she is hickory, shows up, gives an honest effort, like my horses the way I like my people, honest and hardworking. And she did all the heavy lifting, Lafitte. She kept the pressure on Landed, was able to put her away, and then hold off Cupid's Heart, who got a perfect trip and ride from Manny Franco, kind of the inside out, and she ground along to be second. But Bernie takes charge, just decidedly best this afternoon.
5-6-2-7, 2 wins on the afternoon. Ruben Silveira, winning trainer Dominic Schettino, standing by live with Maggie.
And so pleased to be joined here by Dominic. I love watching this filly run, Dom. She fights for every single win that she's gotten in her career.
Yes, she does. And her running style, she wants to be close or on the lead, and Ruben didn't take nothing away from her today, and she was training super for this race.
She looked it. She looked amazing. I know she can be a little tough to handle, but I thought she was on her best behavior today.
Yeah, she was actually a little better today. She shipped in good. She was better in the paddock today, but she was a gutsy race today. She ran like she was training for this race.
It really showed. But when they drew this race and Landed showed up, obviously a talented filly that has speed like you do, did that deter you or make you nervous in any way?
I was worried about her. She was in the turf way. I was hoping she ran there naturally, but that didn't happen. But then I told Ruben, listen, you can't take her away from her running style. Landed will probably go, and the best filly win. You know, I don't want to. And she was training super, so she ran gutsy today. I'm proud of her.
Feeling confident coming in and proud on the way out. Dominic, congratulations.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right, so fun to watch Bernie Takes Charge run, guys, and she proved that she's all guts today.
It's just tough. Tough and fun to watch indeed, Maggie. Bernie takes charge, and I would think that takes some of the pressure off of the rider, in this case, Ruben Silveira, when Cecchino says beforehand, look, don't take anything away from her. Let her do her thing. In other words, if it doesn't work out, if she goes too fast, if she duels and fades, you're not going to get blamed for it.
That's great. Lifts all of that pressure off of you, and you go, okay, I got the green light. I can do what I want. Ruben Silveira tends to be aggressive. That's his style. And I think it's important for people to handicap riders sometimes as well as the horses, because some guys have distinctive styles.
Really good race. Bernie takes charge in the feature today at Aqueduct. Still have the main event coming up, Oaklawn Park. That's a little bit later on. Their 5th race on the horizon, about 5 minutes out. Field and updated odds, $10,000 claiming sprinters will meet the field. We'll start with Palace Kitten, the 9-year-old vet, making his 68th career start.
He's a few days short of his 10th birthday and a closer in a race that I feel has a lot of speed signed on, but he's going to have to bring one of his better efforts.
Wide open. You have a 4-1 favorite on your screen. It's Bob's Business, Minnesota-bred Oaklawn debut.
And this is what makes it so hard to handicap Oaklawn. How is the form from the jurisdictions, Thistledowns, Canterbury, going to play out here?
From all over the place, a melting pot at Oaklawn. Dennington non-factor with the level opening day. There's Fire Brian.
Turning back in distance, but also moving up in class.
Mighty Message, Luis Saez.
Speed, and Luis Saez is not a rider that takes speed away from one.
Ravines Town, number 7, third, facing similar a couple of weeks back.
A little departure from this horse's normal style. Closed a little bit last time. Happier on the pace.
Flotation Station, Steve Asmussen working on his next 1,000 at Oaklawn.
I think he gets 1,001 right here.
All right, at 5-1. Nice. Fitzpatrick, another Minnesota bred.
Yeah, coming out of New York. Wayne Potts having a division down there and making a nice impression physically.
Rocket 88, Christian Torres climbs aboard on the outside. Lee Me B, 33rd start, Oaklawn debut.
Well, we know this horse is durable, making 33 starts. Drawn outside and turning back in distance, probably finds himself in more of a stalking type of a trip.
You said you like Flotation Station, right? Yes?
I do.
All right, because I think Megan's going to start with Flotation Station as well. And, yeah, Megan is Steve Asmussen looks to rack up victory number 1,001 in Hot Springs.
Well, I agree with Meg. I think 1,001 could definitely be on the horizon here for the Steve Asmussen barn, but I thought this was a very difficult start to the Classics Pick 6 sequence, that $10,000 carryover and a pickle of a race. I went over this one a couple of times. I wasn't all that convinced on the form of the 6 and 7 as far as coming out of that similar race, but as Mig did, I landed on the number 8 Flotation Station, one that was avoided claim last time out at Churchill Downs, in for 16 that day, now takes the drop in class. And I will say the theme of this race is none of these horses they're all camera shy. A lot of them haven't won races in quite some time. Lots of question marks. I just wanted a horse that was going to be forwardly placed right there and running figures as this horse has done in the right direction at this time of the year. And physically, he just made me love him all the more when I got to see him in the flesh. He looks fantastic. He's well muscled, beautiful in his coat. I mean, he looks fantastic. And this kind of race with these lower level claimers, he's just one that I thought just made so much sense in this group, and one that always tends to put forth the race, even though he hasn't won in quite some time. But that is a similarity with all of these runners. But the number 9 Fitzpatrick for the Wayne Potts barn won that another voided claim last time out back in New York. He comes off of the freshening there a bit from October. I would say layoff now. It's December, but he's been working well here at Oaklawn Park, and he's 0 for 1 here, but Wayne has really got his horses keyed in here at Oaklawn. We kind of when we were catching up on the backside in the mornings, he's kind of told me he's definitely had to get some of his horses used to the climate here at Oaklawn, kind of making the trek down from his New York base typically. But this horse looks great. He's won another that was resplendent in his coat. He was trending in the right direction as far as his physical, and I think if he runs back to that 2-back effort against against that 16K group, I think he'll be tough in here against $10,000 claimers. But the number 2, It's Bob's Business, I thought was going to be one of my sneaky long shot plays, but he's one that was dappled out, well muscled. Physically I preferred the 8, and one that has been, as Lafitte had mentioned, you're kind of trying to gauge the form at different racetracks, some of those lower level racetracks. tracks, Canterbury, Thistle, Hawthorne, and I didn't have any issues with him. I don't mind his dirt form, as he's been one that's been versatile on both surfaces, and he could be one that has the bit of that stamina to perhaps grind them down late, and especially when you're building a multi-race sequence, a multi-race wager, if you're opting to play this pick 6, is one that I would include, but ended up on the number 8 flotation station for a barn that's hoping to go 2 for their last 2 here. Lafitte?
Megan, you dangle $900,000 a day. They are coming from everywhere, and seeing a lot of that in the early stages, and expect to see that throughout the meet at Oaklawn Park. Circling back to Mighty Message, there is Luis Saez in the pink colors there. Saez, top class 33-year-old Panamanian rider after 7+ days of racing. Richie, you see the stats. Saez in the money more often than not, and leading the way in earnings thus far.
It's just so funny, too. I think he didn't win a race the first 3-4 days of the meet, and people
What's
right
wrong
away.
with Louis?
Yeah, right. What's the matter with Louis? Well, listen, it was just a matter of time before he broke out, and he's broken out in a big way. And I think his style of riding suits Oaklawn well. He is a position-conscious rider.
Won the last 2 races on yesterday's program. Live mounts this afternoon. Feature a little bit later on. I believe he rides Moto, the 8-5 morning line favorite in the Oaklawn Anywhere Stakes for Tom Amoss. He does indeed, as they have reached the starting gate here, and the ownership quickly on Flotation Station, who you have on top here, Ackerley Brothers Farm, Richie.
Ackerley Brothers helped launch 2 Hall of Fame careers. They gave Steve Asmussen his first graded stakes winner in Valid Expectations. In fact, Steve's first 5 graded stakes wins, Little Bonnet, Little Sister, or Valid Bonnet, Little Sister, Valid Expectations, all owned by the Ackerleys. Jersey Girl, Todd Pletcher, first graded stakes win for the Ackerleys.
Incredible. Owners of Flotation Station, number 8. Father and son trying to win back-to-back races, Eric and Steve Asmussen. Matt Dinnerman with the call post-time, race 5 live from Oaklawn.
We're ready to go. And we're off. Good beginning for all. Mighty Message gets the first call, was away alertly. Here's Flotation Station moving up to come and challenge. Ravenstown between that pair firing forward. Those 3 across the track as they head down the back stretch. Flotation Station now easing off the pace. Ravenstown nose in front to the inside. Mighty Message is right there. Flotation Station joined by Rocket 88 from the outside. A gap of 2 to Lee Be Me. Fitzpatrick inside going into the turn. 3 off the lead as they corner into that far turn. They're 3 clear of Fire Brian, who's sent along from the 4th last position. A line up towards the back. Palace Kitten got shuffled back behind a weakening runner. Dennington is also there as well as they round the far turn. It's still Ravenstown on the lead. Mighty Message calls it an afternoon, is going in the wrong direction. Rocket 88 comes up alongside of Ravenstown at the quarter pole. Ravenstown, Rocket 88 off the turn together here. Flotation Station is weakening. Here comes Fitzpatrick on the scene on the far outside. Ravenstown, Rocket 88, and coming down the center of the track with a ferocious rally is It's Bob's Business coming flying down the outside. It is still Ravenstown with the lead. Rocket 88 right there battling, and a lunge at him late. It's going to be tight. It's very tight indeed. These 2 hit it together. Ravenstown or Rocket 88. It's Bob's Business ran on for 3rd, didn't get there. Fitzpatrick flattened out to 4th. Photo finish to kick off the $1 Classic.
Thriller in the 5th at Oaklawn Park. Heads bobbing. Ravenstown on the inside. Rocket 88 trying to pick him off in the shadow of the wire.
And it's a tough angle. It looks like heads up and down on the wire. The last lunge looks like it might have went to the 10. The 7, Ravenstown, came out a bit late stretch under Ronnie Huckabee, an apprentice rider that I've heard good things about. And there might have been some contact. We'll get a much better view of it with this drone shot.
From the drone, what did you notice first watching it in real time?
It just looked like the 7 was drifting slightly, but he's going to go to a left-handed crop here pretty soon. And that's when he's going to come out a lot more dramatic. See right there, left-handed. He starts coming out late, very late. I thought he might have come out and made a little contact. Very, very slight late. I don't know that would be enough to warrant a change, but definitely did come out into him a bit.
Did Rocket 88 come in just a touch?
I didn't see it that way. I think what happens is, Lafitte, you're an older rider, experienced rider like Christian Torres. you're following that horse out a little bit, and you're going, he's hurting me to the point. Let me try to stop my horse from drifting away from, hold my line, and make him make contact with me. So I don't think he came in as much as that he made the effort to kind of straighten his line if that horse was going to bump him.
That angle can be so funny watching these close finishes. You're looking at Rocket 88. Have they posted anything? I don't see the reveal. Nothing has been revealed. You're looking at Rocket 88. They've yet to reveal the winner of this 5th race in a tight finish. Ravenstown on the inside, Rocket 88 separated by millimeters. And it is Rocket 88. That angle can be so tricky. With
that low level is much better.
From that tricky angle, looks like Ravenstown might have held on. In the end, it was Rocket 88, Christian Torres by a flared nostril in the 5th race here at Oaklawn Park. Results forthcoming, plus Manny Franco, terrific rider, terrific athlete, another solid year in the saddle, and piling up another 200-plus victories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to America's Day at the races here on FS1 as we have horses in the paddock for the penultimate race on this penultimate day of racing here at Aqueduct in 2025, a day other than for the New York breds traveling the 9 furlongs. And of this late pick 4 that we're showing here on America's Day at the races from the Big A, I really thought that number 10 Concord Spirit was the strongest favorite and the one that you could feel confident in singling. And my opinion has definitely not changed. Having looked at him here in the paddock, he looks fantastic. But one of his main rivals does come in here off of a layoff, and that's number 7, Hey Toby, for Jeremiah Engelhart, as his last effort was pretty disappointing. It came at a mile. He was a beaten favorite by 12.5 lengths. And I mean, he was chasing 3 wide and he just stopped. So looking at him here in the paddock, I like the fact that he looks fit, good energy overall. but he also comes back wearing front wraps for the first time, which at this, there's no claim involved. There's the layoff to think about. He's never worn them in the past. That makes me a little bit leery of suggesting, hey, Toby. And furthermore, we're going to have to take him coming back off of a layoff, going the 9 furlongs around 2 turns. And while he's done it in the past, of his Finger Lakes races around 2 turns, and they were good, it's just his NYRA races, at 2 turns, they're lacking a bit. So we'll see how Hey Toby does. As a horse that is taking some money here is number 3, Corvus, as he's 3rd off of a layoff and stretching back out in distance. And the last time we saw him going 9 furlongs was 4 races ago, back in May, where he ran well behind Palace Boss. And he wasn't on Lasix then. Granted, it's not like he's shown a market improvement with the addition of that. But the blinkers do come off for the first time ever. Looking at him, he's not a horse that strikes you as that true 9 furlong type because he's quite small and compact. But the proof is in the pudding. He's obviously capable of handling it, and he does look incredibly fit here. And I must say that Jose Jimenez, while maybe his win percentage isn't reflective of success, his horses are typically really well turned out day in and day out, and Corvus is another one of those. I know a lot of people are interested in him. I just wasn't one of them, Lafitte.
Somebody is interested, clearly, with the wagering. Corvus, who is now the second choice at 9-2. Jamie Rodriguez looking for a 3rd win this afternoon. Concord Spirit, Maggie loved what she saw. Concord Spirit, most recent effort, Richie at the distance, 2 starts back, early November. Similar level competition, Concord Spirit, who is denied in an absolute heartbreaker.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a pitched battle. He got ahead in front inside the 8th pole, and then the inside horse battled back and was able to outgame him. I like the fact that he showed improved speed this day. He got his position right away. Last time, he just wound up, really far back, but who was he beaten by? Mo 88, who came back with another huge, impressive performance yesterday.
He was terrific yesterday afternoon. Strengths of schedule. Post-parade, let's meet the field. You see Sanzio here, 36-1. And, yeah.
Yeah, coming off a nice effort last time under Ray Lou Gutierrez at Finger Lakes. This is tougher.
Bob John Ray, he's won 3 of 5.
And he should be lurking just off the pace. He's a horse that kind of sets up his own trip.
Corvus, number 3, 3rd race off the layoff.
Boy, he is taking that money. I thought he ran okay last time, closed, sprinting, takes the blinkers off on the stretch out, but didn't expect him to be that short a price.
Eric from Miami, a tall order on paper.
Yeah, put a line through the last race, a bad stumble, but even his previous races, he's going to have to improve from.
Outlaw number 5, busy this year, 16th start in 25.
Yeah, now comes to New York to run against New York breds. This is speed. This horse, even going long, has fast speed. Sprinter speed.
Small change sheet picture there with Jose Lascano.
Yeah, Brooke Maiden for 30. This is a lot tougher.
Hey Toby and Kendrick Carmouche. Carmouche looking for a 2nd win today.
Will be up. Should be forward. This horse runs his best when he's allowed to be up on the pace.
Burning Beauty arrives with momentum from Finger Lakes.
Yeah, good form at Finger Lakes. Let's see how it translates here for owner-breeder Al Fried.
Concord Spirit, 7-5, runner-up in his last 3.
It just jumps off the page at you. That second, albeit beaten 8.5 lengths by Mo 88.
Landauer, good luck to our friend Steve Bick.
Well, we're going to root for Landauer because of Steve, but I think this horse really kind of got comfortable on the turf late in the season, and dirt going to be a little bit more difficult. And a tough post on top of it. You had riding instructions you were passing through, Steve, to Christopher Elliott. I don't know that he's going to reach it or hear it in time, but... Well, I thought that, their Landauer's best go is if they could cut across the turf course and, take a little bit of a shortcut. Mile and an eighth here, 2-turn event upcoming at the Big A, race number 9 of 10. Your top selection, are you going with Concord Spirit? Is he trustworthy in your opinion? Yeah, I can't see past him. I thought he followed up that really big effort, going a mile and an eighth with, a nice effort against a much more talented rival. There's really no other way to say it. Mo 88, if I wasn't mistaken, got something like 110 buyer figure yesterday. Yeah, he's really good right now. Yeah, I mean, that's just, he's maybe found his real home on a fast dirt track. And then last time, in spite of the fact that he was facing Mo 88, I thought he was just way too far out of the race. He was never in a position to win from. I thought he did well to be second.
Concord Spirit favored, drawn to his inside, Maggie. Number 9, Burning Beauty.
Yeah, Burning Beauty, I thought, was the one that I wanted to use in the exacta spot behind Concord Spirit in here. Yes, the bulk of his success / work has come at Finger Lakes, but go back a ways and find that he's run well here on the NYRA circuit. And yes, Meg, you're right, a 109 buyer from 088. Like I said earlier, if that horse isn't a multiple stakes winner in the near future, then I would be flabbergasted. But getting back to Burning Beauty, last time out was a victory over a muddy sealed surface, but he's run well over the fast in the past, and he launched his 4-wide bid around the turn and just wore them all down late. So if things start to heat up, which I do feel like there's several horses in here that very well could and want to be forward, he's the big galloping type that's going to be able to pick them all up late. He's warmed up nicely here for Charlie Baker, who's looking for his second win on the card. And obviously we've seen Ruben Silvera with several winners on the card already. So for me, it was a 10-9 exacta. Livy?
Silvera, Maggie, just having won the stakes race moments ago with Bernie, takes charge and his first win on the program with Charlie Baker, with Indy Rags in race number 4. So this combination is looking to strike again, Silvera and Baker.
Yeah, I really like Maggie's assessment of the 10 and the 9. Listen, the 10 is obvious. The 9, Burning Beauty, though, has been in good form, will stay the 9 furlongs, no doubt about that. And Lafitte, just to give you an idea of my age, not only did I ride Moonlight and Beauty, which is Burning Beauty's great Grand Dam, and I won on her 1.8 miles for Rick Schosberg here at Aqueduct, I also rode her great Grand Dam Stolen Beauty for Al Freed. And Al Freed, longtime owner breeder in the state of New York. A lot of people don't know, as a young man, teenager, he wanted to be a jockey. And he actually galloped horses for Sonny Jim Fitzsimmons before he grew too large to pursue that. I think he did better going into the financial world.
Probably worked out in the end for everyone involved. How else are you going to become Aqueduct's all-time leading jockey? It's not just about God-given ability, longevity.
Longevity. You keep showing up. Good things happen. You keep showing up.
Just keep
and the key is never, ever give up. Francisco Arrieta last year at Oaklawn was struggling early in the meet, was leaving, told his valet to pack his stuff. He was leaving. His valet talked him into seeing it out, stick it out a little longer, wound up leading the rider.
It's incredible. And finished with a flurry, winning races in bunches, was able to collar Christian Torres late. It all came down to the last day, and adding to that drama, and why we like to see it so competitive towards the end of the meet and the battle for those jockey titles, especially on the bigger circuits.
But I think it definitely raises, a little bit more of the excitement level. But for me, as somebody having competed out there, you take so much pride in it, Lafitte. And I never went into a meet going, I'm going to be leading rider here. But, man, when you get a week or two out and you're close, you want it badly.
Get me on anything.
Anything.
Anything. Concord Spirit here with Eric Cancel, the favorite. 9th race from Aqueduct, live on FS1. Here's Chris Griffin.
Burning Beauty. Concord Spirit and Olla. Olla goes in, and Landauer last to load. Landauer goes in. All set. And they're off. Bob John Ray has asked for early speed, so is Olla in between horses. Right there is Hey Toby's going to settle off of them. It's going to be a stalking third. They speed into that first turn. Bob John Ray, Manny Franco, they wanted the front and they got there. They're quickly up by a half length. Here's Alla now going to stalk from second, and towards the outside, Hey Toby is there with Small Change Jeep. They're third and fourth. In behind them comes Burning Beauty, who's in fifth. Then comes the red cap of Concord Spirit, who's going to be in sixth. Just got passed for that spot. Towards the inside by Sanzio. Another gap of 5 now. Towards the back end of the field comes Eric from Miami. Then Corvus and Landauer is the trailer. They work to the backstretch, 24 seconds flat for that opening quarter mile. Bob John Ray is going to dole out the fractions here. Alla's been there the entire journey, is right there, is 3/4 of a length back in second. Hey Toby is patiently ridden from third. Small Change Jeep is at the rail, starts to move forward. Burning Beauty out wider in fifth. Gap of 4. Back to Sanzio in the orange cap, starts to make up some ground, is in that 6th spot. Losing ground right now is Concord Spirit. Landauer from the back trying to run on with Corvus, and the trailer, Eric from Miami. 48 seconds flat, half-mile time. Bob, John Ray still there. Alla in between horses. Here comes Hey Toby. Hey Toby now makes a quick move to the outside, is ready to challenge that leader, and these two approach a quarter mile left to go. Small Change Jeep moves down towards the inside, is right in behind the top duo looking for a seam. They reach the top of the stretch, and Bob John Ray continues on. Hey Toby, real tight spot here. Small Change Jeep trying to work on through. Burning Beauty down the center of the racetrack. Concord Spirit was losing ground, but has now regained momentum, and here comes Concord Spirit with a big run. Concord Spirit is now thrusting towards the front, and Concord Spirit, Burning Beauty gets tight. Hey Toby, Bob John Ray, Concord Spirit almost there. Concord Spirit will win it. Concord Spirit, Bob John Ray, then came Burning Beauty and Sanzio in 1 minute 51 and 4.
For a while, looked like he might be in deep water. Concord Spirit comes alive late, strikes in the 9th. Let's take a look at the head-on, Richie. What'd you notice from the pan? Naturally, for both of us, our first glance at the head-on.
Well, you see the horse on the outside of the red cap, Eric Cancel going to a left-handed crowd. Just looks like he does a slow, steady drift in. And you see it's going to accordion the field a little bit here, where the horse in the purple had to steady out. And then late again, the 9-horse, Burning Beauty, has to steady a little bit. I don't think that one was as egregious as the first one, but it was a kind of a slow, steady move to the left that put those horses in just a little bit of an uncomfortable spot.
Enough to where Team Concord Spirit is going to have something to worry about.
Well, I do think they got to take a look at this, because you're going to see right there where the 7-horse has to take up. Horse was finished at that point, no problem, but the 9, I think, was affected a little bit too. Personally, I don't think there's enough there to warrant any kind of a change, but this is something that I would imagine the rider on the 9, Ruben Silvera, would claim foul. I know I would in this instance, because I want to protect myself with my owner and trainer, that, yeah, look, I got put in close. I had a steady trying to protect the 7. And even if they don't change it, at least they know you were responsible and claiming foul.
And how about another look at the head-on from the, did it cost a placing the action of Concord Spirit and what took place in deep stretch from that perspective?
See, I really don't think it does. I think everybody had established where they were going to finish at that point. It got uncomfortable. Eric did keep, at his horse with a left-handed crop wanting to lug in. But you could, if you go back to the top of the stretch where he started to where he finished, that's why I thought it was worth looking at, because he did come in about 6 paths.
And there it is, inquiry posted, 10-2-9-1, involving the first and third place finishers, Concord Spirit, Burning Beauty, who you touched on with Ruben Silvera in deep stretch there, 10-2-9-1. Stewart's going to take a closer look at this one.
Yeah, this is one of those cases too where the 10 Concord Spirit is decidedly best. You don't want to put yourself in the position where the stewards have to look at it. Maybe Eric Cancel would have been a little bit better to stay further away from him. I know he's trying to let him run and his horse is wanting to drift, but you're going to go by them anyway. You're going to beat them. Ruben Hernandez, a great rider, once told me 2 rooms you want to stay out of, the courtroom and the operating room, because you never know which way it's going to go. Well,
never know.
I would say the steward's room as well.
A decision we await. Concord Spirit, 10-2-9-1. And the thought process, the calculation by an Eric Cancel or a jockey in that scenario where a horse is running well, yes, drifting. Is there a reluctance to change things and correct because he is traveling well and has found his best and looks like he's going to get there as he eventually did.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're trying to walk that tightrope we talk about, allowing your horse to run forward, keep his momentum, and at the same time allow him to drift enough. You don't want to bother anybody, but sometimes when you've got to correct a horse, Lafitte, all horses are tired by the time they get in the stretch. You correct them, you put that bit up in their mouth, they might take it as a signal, oh, I'm tired, I can stop now. So he was trying to ride the middle there. In hindsight, he might have been better off pulling away from him a touch more. I don't blame him. I know exactly how he was focused on it.
Winner for the time being, screen right, Concord Spirit. Another look at the head-on, screen left, 10-2-9-1. Richie, will the stewards only talk to Eric Cancel and Ruben Silvera? Will they talk to other riders, being that other riders were involved?
I would think that they would talk with Kendrick Carmouche, who was on the 7 Hey Toby as well, even though he didn't, lodge an objection or anything. His horse was tired and done at that point. I can't make a case that it cost him a placing. I wouldn't make a change here. This is one, though, that, I have a good talk with Eric about being just a bit more responsible in a situation like that. One thing about it, and the inside horse that was on the lead, I believe that was the 2 horse, if I'm not mistaken, Bob John Ray. He came
look
out,
at Eric Cancel, Concord Spirit's rider. Go ahead.
He came out a little bit, so I think that helped contribute to the outside pressure, making more of an accordion kind of an effect. And I will tell you from experience, the worst feeling in the world, you've won a race, even if you believe you're not coming down, waiting for your turn to talk to the stewards while your number's blinking.
What can you share with us, Maggie?
He's a horse that has a propensity to lug in, and he was ready for it. He does wear that cage bit, but unfortunately, it just tells a story. And to go back a couple weeks, honestly, with my husband's horse, Turn and Count, with, ironically, Ruben Silvera aboard, he wasn't ready for him to lug in, and he lugged in severely, and he couldn't prohibit him from, or even try to prohibit him from lugging in, and they took him down. So this looks fairly similar, even though Eric was trying his best to keep Concord Spirit on the right and straight path without interfering from it with anybody. But if they took that horse down, which he did do it more severely, I think they ought to do it with this horse as well, but we'll see. Lafitte?
We await a decision from the stewards. 10-2-9-1, Concord Spirit, the winner for now. In this 9th race, Aqueduct, you have the inquiry and an objection. Why also an objection, Richie, from Burning Beauty jockey Ruben Silvera, who you saw moments ago against Eric Cancel?
Well, as a rider, as you're galloping out after the race, you don't know if the stewards are going to put up an inquiry or not. And in New York, we have what we call a quick official. You have to signal to the outrider that you want to claim foul. He then contacts the stewards. So before they galloped out an 1/8 of a mile, Ruben Silvera is hollering over the outrider, hey, I want to claim foul. They inform the stewards. And if anything, it just reinforces what the stewards are looking at if you claim foul. If you don't, I was always worried that the stewards think, well, he must not think he got bothered. No. Not only did I get bothered, he turned me inside out. He knocked me through the rails. I'm going to come up with
the verbal flop.
Yeah, 100%. And I think I could have probably been an attorney. I talked my way in and out of a lot of these.
Which is another layer to the story, is that at times there can also be a language barrier, which I know is part of the reason that you feel it's a very much an archaic way of communicating, and the process that takes place during an objection and inquiry, the communication, the conversations between the officials, the stewards, and the jockeys.
Again, I'll go back to, I think it's akin to a referee in football throwing a flag, pass interference. He's not going to confer with the receiver and the defender, because what are they going to do? They're going to present their side of it, how they want it to be. I think you've got film patrol. You've got different angles. We're starting to use drone shots in different jurisdictions. You've just got to watch a race well and make the call, relying on riders to tell you, human nature, you're going to defend your position.
Eric Cancel with the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag, saying no, watching the replay. And the longer it goes, Richie, do you, if you're Eric Cancel, are you that much more nervous the longer we sit here and wait for a decision that has been made, a disqualification, Concord Spirit taken down, Concord Spirit disqualified, 2-9-1. 2-9-1-7 now. The unofficial order of finish. Ruben Silvera, a third win on the afternoon. Bob John Ray, the winner of this 9th race at Aqueduct.
I understand why they took it down. I think it's a shame because I do think that the 10-horse Concord Spirit was the best horse in the race. But by the letter of the law, he was, slowly drifting in, and he inhibited the ability for the horses on the inside to run freely.
And a correction, Manny Franco, Bob John Ray, Ruben Silvera was on Burning Beauty, 2-9-1-7. Manny Franco, 3 wins on the afternoon here at Aqueduct. All right, so much more from the Big A as we have reached post time at Oaklawn. Lots going on. Megan, wanted to get your thoughts on this field as they make their way behind the starting gate.
Yeah, I have the 11 and the 8 exacta here. I think Sexagenarian will be hard to beat, but he's also not one that has a huge edge in terms of figures on this group. But I went with the number 11, Walleye, and while he has been in against Oklahoma breds there at Remington Park, he's one that I thought was extremely interesting in this race. And if he does run his race, I think he could be better than these. The keys, though, for him, break out of the gate, break with speed from the outside, and last time he found himself in a duel. I'm hoping to see him settle a bit up there at 7-2, Lafitte.
Let's see how it all unfolds, Megan. This $12,500 claiming sprint non-winners to lifetime. And Sexagenarian, the 8-5 favorite. If you're between the ages of 60 and 69, that's you. Sexagenarian. Learned that today. Had no idea what it meant.
I learned something new today. Boy, this horse taking a precipitous drop in class from 40 down to 12.5.
The favorite at post time with Matt Dinnerman standing by. The 6th race live from Oaklawn Park.
In the Lewis Matthews Jr.'s yellow and black diamonds, and to the outside, Mammoet. Jaime Torres looking for a double. We're ready to go. And we're off. Mammoet from the far outside, prominent, is going to take back here. Here comes Sexagenarian to be part of the action on the lead. Sexagenarian, narrow lead in the early stages. Woods Point to the inside, not far off. Walleye, easing off the speed, is on the tail of the leader, running in the 3rd position. Mammoet settles in 4th. Then comes Naderade, 5th. 6 off the lead with Rhino de Grace to the outside. Another 2 lengths to El Sargento. Unified Usyk is next in a strung out group. Heavenly Deacon is joining him while under a ride. Charlie Pride is a lot of work to do. He's got one runner beat. That Sneaky Feet, who's the trailer. Sexagenarian goes off at 4-5 and leads the parade around the far turn. He's increased the lead to 2 1/4 lengths. Wildeye in chase mode 2nd. Woods Point is giving way coming off the turn. Rhino de Grace just plodding along at the top of the stretch, and then comes El Sargento trying to mount a rally. Unified Usyk as they come down the stretch. It is still Sexagenarian narrow lead. Wildeye's gaining some ground on him. Ran right by him. Did Wildeye in the final furlong. Wildeye, the leader, with a 16th to go here. He's got a 2.5 length lead. Mammoet into 2nd, and then Sexagenarian. Wildeye gets the victory. 2nd home Mammoet, then Sexagenarian. Woods Point held on for 4th.
Just blew by the favorite, Sexagenarian. Wildeye, owned by Steve Asmussen, trained by Steve Asmussen, ridden by son Eric.
Got right to work on that next 1,000 wins at Oaklawn Park. Walleye was always in good position. I like the way Eric got this horse out of the gate, got him into a good rhythm, and it looked like turning for home. He wasn't going to get there. He was a little bit sideways. What a difference when he got to his right lead, Lafitte. He panned out, dropped his head, leveled off, and got it done.
Instant acceleration, Wildeye, 11-13-8 at Oaklawn Park. That's what he does. Shatters records and achieves milestones. Some take a little more time than others, but he was going to get there eventually. Steve Asmussen, 1,001 career victories at Oaklawn Park.
The lead belongs to Epic Ride. He is showing them a clean pair of heels.
Eclipse champion Blame, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
And it's lights out, locked, pouring it on, running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked. Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
Great to have you with us on America's Day at the Races. Fox Sports 1 coverage brought to you in part by Gainesway, Power, Passion, Performance. And a little controversy. Following the 9th race, Aqueduct. Take another look. Eventual winner as a result of the disqualification. Bob John Ray in front, turning for home. But here's where it gets interesting. Richie with Concord Spirit, the favorite on the outside, closing, but doing so while lugging in.
Yeah, and it was just a slow, steady drift in. You're going to see the horses, 2 horses in between. 1, the 7 has to take up pretty abruptly. The 9 is going to run out of room again, late. It's frustrating. I'm sure, for some of the fans, the bettors are going to be frustrated. But by the letter of the law, you can't impede another horse's path without clearance. And again, the slow, steady drift. Don't blame Eric. This is a habit this horse has. Could have maybe made just a touch more effort right before that real jam happened, but...
And that's the fine line. You're gauging how much you want to correct, how much you try to get him to keep a straighter path, but not wanting to impede the momentum he's building.
Well, that's it. And again, all horses are tired. You don't want to send the signal to the horse that, all right, it's time to pull up, because a lot of horses will be very willing at that point to say, oh, good, my job's over.
It's a tough one, though. If you had Concord Spirit disqualified, Bob John Ray, 1554, Manny Franco, 3 wins on the afternoon. We have one left, turning the page. The nightcap, $17,500 claiming event. Non-winners to lifetime. All one for something, all for sale. 7/8 of a mile extended sprint, fillies and mares. Blue-Eyed Scout is out. Take Me to London is in the paddock, and the favorite at 5-2. Flavien Prat out of town. Luis Rivera takes over, trained by Brad Cox. Take Me to London. What'll she do in the nightcap? Find out in 10 minutes. You're watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 1.
They approach a quarter-mile left to go right here at Aqueduct in the Cigar Mile, and it's a big long shot at Mika, who's trying to upset this field. Bishop's Bay is in full pursuit, but Mika is showing no signs of stopping so far. Bishop's Bay will have to dig deep inside to catch this long shot Mika. Mika has a 16th left to get, but here comes Bishop's Bay with every single stride. It's gonna be Bishop's Bay to get up and win.
Killer instinct would not be denied, just kept coming. Bishop's Bay, Grade 1 Cigar Mile winner. Based on that and his improvement, Richie, poised for an exciting 2026.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's in good form. He's undefeated with Flavien Prat in the saddle as well, and just got up in the shadow of the wire. A very game Mika. It was harder to catch that Mika than it's been for other hockey players to catch Mika Zibanejad this year.
Pretty good. Very well done. Bishop's Bay, not just regarded now as, remember when Arcangelo beat him in that Peter Pan? That was kind of his claim to fame. Not anymore. Grade 1 Cigar Mile winner. And as the calendar is about to turn for trainer Brad Cox and some of the stars in his stable ready to go on and will be performing next season.
We saw Tapan Street make his comeback win allowance race at Gulfstream. A hard-fought win, but hey, to win going a mile off the bench, not an easy task.
Beat Sovereignty in the Florida Derby. No one else has since. Look forward to seeing what Tapan Street does as a 4-year-old. Trained by Brad Cox, as is the gray filly you see there. Take Me to London. Why is she the favorite in this 10th and final, Richie?
Well, I think her last effort kind of points her out, right? She's drawn towards the outside. I thought ran a good race last time, just second best, and now she gets a half a furlong more to negotiate. I like someone else in here, but I can understand why she's taking that much money.
She is the second choice, I should say. The favorite is number 4. It will be fun at 8-5, and we check in with Maggie in the paddock.
Start with here in the paddock, Lafitte, as it will be fun. She's not fun to ride. So Sahin Savachi, who does climb aboard here first off the claim for the Cantramasis, will try to apply his best horsemanship efforts to, well, A, get her out of the gate, because that's sometimes her problem, but B, also prevent her from running off. Now, last time I saw her, which was 2 back, which she wasn't the best behaved either. She just had a snaffle on, as they did put the blinkers on for the first time. Now, last time it was horrible. I mean, she was squeezed back at the start. She looked to be fighting kind of Flavien Prat as well as the kickback. Then once he got her out of the kickback, she literally just took off and ran off with her head straight up in the air. And let me tell you, those are literally the horses that you can't stop. It's one thing when they bear all their weight and put their head down on the ground, you can kind of sit against them. These ones, you have nothing to control them out in front of you. So she's going to wear a halton bit or a cage bit first off the claim here for the Cantramasis. She's behaving well here in the paddock. Usually when I've seen her in the past, she can be a little bit more aggressive in her demeanor, and that's not the case today. She's actually behaving quite nicely for her. So hopefully that translates to the racetrack as well here. And I do like the 7 furlongs. I feel like that's kind of the perfect middle of the road distance for her, as her main rival does come in the form of number 9, Take Me to London. Look, I've never been her biggest fan, but she ran okay last time when she was wired by Carolina Smoke Show at this level. Luis Rivera will pick up the ride. Today, she's actually been a little bit tough to saddle, which I haven't noticed from her in the past. She's settled right back down once they got it all on her. She's just never progressed. I mean, she is what she is. She rarely deviates from a 59-60 buyer. She is what she is. So she's not my type of horse. I'd much rather roll the dice and take number 4, It Will Be Fun, than Take Me to London, guys.
Little will go a long way in this one, Maggie. $17,500 claimers, non-winners to lifetime. Take Me to London, Louis Rivera to do the honors. And It Will Be Fun, who Maggie was discussing. Right there, It Will Be Fun. Sounds like a Cadillac, Richie, like just a dream to ride. My God.
Yeah, she's not well named. It Will Be Fun, because it does not look fun to ride her. And listen, you get a rider like Flavien Prat, break slow on a horse, was 6 the first call and then 5 in front the second call. That's not his doing. That's a 1,000-pound animal called It Will Be Fun saying, sit back there, you're the passenger, I'm taking you for a ride.
It's like every bad habit possible, like does not break, runs off. Let's see what she does this afternoon. And she's the second choice, post parade. There's Kara's Chianti.
Nice effort last time to break her maiden for 20 with a long, smooth finish.
Cha-Cha Ren, fifth straight at the level.
Deep closer is going to have to find herself a little better position, I think, to be successful.
Spirit of Esther, owned and trained by Ilkay Kentamachi.
And has speed, complements her uncoupled stablemate to her outside, and It Will Be Fun.
It will be fun. It will be interesting.
Well, again, you know, how she breaks and her habits, she's been her own worst enemy. I like her. I just hope that she is a little bit more manageable.
Furry Fox is spinning her wheels of late.
Yeah, last 2 races, boy, they leave a lot to be desired.
That's the fact check number 6, 15th appearance this year.
Yeah, and it just every now and then throws one in that gives you a little bit more hope. Last race, kind of a regression.
Number 7, Mia Nipotina, non-factor, facing similar 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, really just showed nothing against a similar group.
Take Me to London, 7-5 favorite now.
Well, very well drawn towards the outside. Makes a lot of sense. Honestly, in these lower level races of feed, I don't want anybody at that shorter price.
Her consistency, as Maggie referenced, just consistently like okay. Just okay.
Yep.
Then Timia to the outside. First start at this tricky, sometimes, 7/8 of a mile extended sprint.
I actually think that the 7/8 is going to be good for her. I think sometimes 6 furlongs are a bit too sharp. The mile might be a little bit out of her scope. It might be that Goldilocks effects, and 7 furlongs is just right for Timia.
Just right. Kind of a specialty distance, 7/8 of a mile. All right, so let's hear the sales pitch. Who is it? Who takes down this 10th at Aqueduct?
I just talked myself into the 10, Timia.
Is that who it's going to be?
Yes.
Oh.
I don't want to take 6-5 on Take Me to London, who is a very logical choice. The 4, It Will Be Fun. We've talked about her habits. She's her own worst enemy. I think she's probably as frustrating a horse to bet on as she is to ride. So I'll go with the outside draw, Timia. I'm impressed with Jamie Rodriguez, and I just think 7 furlongs could be the perfect distance for this horse.
Jamie Rodriguez already with a pair of wins. Best of luck, Richie, with Timia at a price. 10-1, 8-1, make it, Maggie. Number 3, Spirit of Esther, at 7-1. What can you tell us?
Well, kind of the same thing that Meg was just talking about with that Goldilocks effect when it comes to the distance of the 7/8. I think it fits the bill for Spirit of Esther. Yes, her form looks as though it's on a rapid decline at the moment, but I do think that she is going to be more well-suited to cutting back. I have always said, you know, looking at my notes throughout her career, that I prefer shorter for her. And I do think the argument could be made that obviously turf might be a little bit better. And I do think, you know, if you go 4 back, that race could make her a bit of a player here at this level. I thought she looked good. Obviously, the Cantromasi's horses are generally well turned out. And I just thought if you weren't feeling trustworthy of the 2 favorites in here, the 7 furlongs really should suit Spirit of Esther, where she can kind of sit back and possibly have a target as opposed to being the speed type that we've seen her be in those longer mile races. So, yes, I'm going to gamble on It Will Be Fun, but there's at this level of feet, I mean, they're a little untrustworthy to say the least.
Yes, if she can break a little bit better, if she doesn't run off, a little more focused, and the handicapper's not deterred. She is a second choice, 5-2. It will be fun. And Maggie both touched on the distance, 7/8 of a mile, and just how different it is from other sprint distances, and the difference between 3/4 of a mile, 7/8 of a mile. I remember when the Vosburg, the key prep, New York's key prep for the Breeders' Cup Sprint, was 7/8 of a mile for a long time. Breeders' Cup Sprint is 3/4 of a mile, and we would see horses win the Vosburg and big things expected in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and it would be a different type of challenge. These 6 furlongs would be too sharp. You'd see horses like Bird on the Wire win the Vosburg, and you could tell how much different it was, how much he was impacted at a different distance. Richter Scale, who won, I think, I think the Jerome, I think the Jerome.
Yeah.
It was a mile.
Sure.
He was like a second choice in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and it clearly wasn't to his strength.
It's
It's
just that much sharper than the 7 furlongs or even a little bit beyond. It's like the difference between the 6 furlongs on the turf at Belmont and the 5.5 on the turf in Saratoga.
Yeah.
It's 110 yards difference, but run completely different.
Completely different. To the extent that now that the Vosburg was eventually changed to 3/4 of a mile to match the Breeders' Cup Sprint, so you'd have horses that would thrive in that run that would serve as a better prep.
Richter scale, best pure sprinter I ever rode.
Is that right?
When he won the DeFrancis Dash going 6 furlongs at Laurel, he ran 107 and 4, 44 flat like he was galloping.
He was good. He was awfully good. This 7/8 of a mile extended sprint. How will it all unfold? I'm watching Post 4, and it will be fun, and how that goes for Sahin Savachi throughout. One final time, Chris Griffin with the call, the nightcap from the Big A Live on FS1.
And they're off. Speed from Spirit of Esther. Also hard scent on the far outside. Timia's in the early mix, and there's Take Me to London's going to take back. It is going to be Timia now to clear off. Is in command, is up by a full length. At the rail, here comes Spirit of Esther, is right there with a tight hold in Furry Fox. Also moving forward, It Will Be Fun is stacked up in behind horses out wider. That's the fact. Jack is traveling there with Take Me to London. Towards the back end of the field, there comes Kara's Chianti, is just off that leading group. 23 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. Mia Nipotina and the trailer, Cha-Cha Ren. They speed towards half-mile left to go, and Timia is still the leader, is up by a half length. Furry Fox at a big number is in pursuit, and Spirit of Esther still at the rail, starts to make up ground once more. It Will Be Fun is in between horses, nowhere to go yet, is now going to try and follow Spirit of Esther down towards the inside. Out wider, that's the fact. Jack gets Timia, who's the leader. Kara's Chianti's coming to the frame too. 46.72 for that half-mile time. They reach the top of the stretch, and they haven't caught Timia yet. It's Timia in front. Here comes a run from Spirit of Esther. Also trying to run on It Will Be Fun. Far back to the rest, and Timia has a furlong left to get and is still 3.5 lengths in front. Timia, they're in second still, battling on as Spirit of Esther, but Timia, front-running score. Jamie Rodriguez picks up another one. Give it to Timia in the finale. Timia won it over Spirit of Esther, then came Furry Fox, looked like Cha-Cha Ren, running on late 2 in 1 minute 25.30 seconds.
3 wins on the afternoon. Jockey Jamie Rodriguez, and a winning selection by the MIG. Timia at 5-1 in the nightcap.
She was very good. She left the gate with run on her mind and improved speed today. That outside post, last one in, first one out. Jamie Rodriguez, 3rd win of the day. I've been impressed with him. Like I said, he was an apprentice here. I wasn't as impressed. He has developed and evolving into a top-class race rider.
Big afternoon here at Aqueduct. 10-3 photo for 3rd. We'll wrap up the day when we come back as our coverage continues. You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS1.
Twirling Candy, proving Lane's End's stallion-making tradition. Twirling Candy has seen success on the track and in the sales ring, siring multiple Grade 1 winners and millionaires, including Kilwin, Ice Cream U-Screen, AG Bullet, and Fian, and reaching 7-figure yearling and 2-year-old sales. Twirling Candy, a leader of his generation.
This holiday season, give the gift of racing with Naira Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your own account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NairaBets.com.
Say hi to our new stallion, Highland Falls. From his winning debut to that spectacular Jockey Club Gold Cup.
It is Highland Falls. He wins another one, this time the Jockey Club Gold Cup.
Even his buyer was high. The race his sire made his own by a widening 4 lengths. A host of Grade 1 winners far behind. High and goodbye. Running a 107 when second in an All-Star Whitney. The rise and rise of Highland Falls. High class, on the track and on the page. This is his dam, winning the Acorn and then the Distaff.
Going on to take the
aim high. Breed to a well-bred son of Curlin. Highland Falls, new to Darley.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. RTN has packages that start at $5 per month.
Great to have you with us on America's Day at the Races. Live coverage from Aqueduct, where the show is complete. 10 up and 10 down. Still lots of live racing coming your way from Oaklawn. On track for the 7th, 3 minutes out. We'll meet the field. Numbers 1 and 2 are out. You're looking at Shannon and Louis Size in the saddle.
Was impressive last January to break her maiden first time out for a maiden claiming tag.
Moon over a Choctaw contender.
A major contender, maybe has the right style of a race with speed in it and consistent sort.
A good call, number 5, and Christian Torres takes over.
Yeah, horse that has already won at Oaklawn, broke her maiden quite impressively last season.
Pippa, number 6, pedal to the metal.
It adds more speed to the affair, which could be the undoing of the 3-horse.
Cha-Ching claimed from Eddie Canilli by Norm Cassie.
We might have the right style for this race, right? Just should be lurking in a good stalking position.
Now favored 2-1. Then Vigidal, number 9.
Yeah, dropping down in class for Steve Asmussen, and another one that should be laying up fairly close.
Maggie Moss's surprise, trained by Tom Amos.
Yeah, second start for Tom. Getting back to dirt. Tried the synthetic over at Turfway Park, but back to the surface, I think, prefers.
Long shot, Kiss and Cash drawn towards the outside.
Yeah, it's just going to have to run a little faster than anything we've seen previous, and not the greatest post. I don't like them far outside posts in 6 furlong races.
We check in with Megan, trackside at Oaklawn.
I loved digging into this race. I thought it was interesting. But as far as the number 8, Cha-Ching for the Norm Cassie barn, off of that claim, as mentioned, just her physically in her races, I thought, wow, I'm interested to see what she looks like in person because she looks huge. She is huge. She just towers over this field in terms of her sheer size and just in terms of her races. You know, last time out, she was bet down to favoritism and that a similar $80,000 non-2 winners of lifetime. She broke a touch slow, was checked a bit early, and then kind of trailed before making that 4 to 5 wide move, really making up ground. The winner and the 3rd place filly came back winner. So it was a pretty solid group that she faced that day. Thought she ran incredibly well, always enticing when somebody, especially like Flying P Stable, they're very astute as far as their claiming game is concerned of the horses that they want to pinpoint, reaching in for that bigger price tag of $80,000 with her. And as Richie had alluded to, as far as her running style, she's got that scope. She honestly, I think she's one that will appreciate more ground now here as she does continue sprinting. But she's one that kind of takes a second. She's got that big stride and then can kind of gobble up that ground late. So I really liked her. Loved her last race. I loved her physically. I think she's trending in the right direction. And she does make her Oaklawn Park debut, but I vividly remember seeing her on track back on December the 14th. I was like, who is that filly? It was her. She was traveling very well just because of her size. She kind of caught my eye, but I liked her up there. Up there now looks like she's 8 to 5, but the number 10 surprise for the Tom Amos barn, one that didn't quite fare on the synthetic as mentioned last out, but I like this horse sprinting. She's been bet down to favoritism in 4 of her 7 tries, winning runs to break that maiden, actually routing. Very well bred, half to stakes winning sprinter in the likes of Fibber there for owner Maggie Moss, and another that's making an Oaklawn Park debut. She's going to be one that I would find her to be a bit tactically placed from the outside, searching for that position with Rafael Bejarano aboard, but she's one that was incredibly well meant as far as the way she looked physically. I liked what I saw from her in person. She's got an engine on her, and despite that good magic on top, I thought she's right where she belonged here sprinting. But a layoff contender there in the number 3, Jeanette for the Jade Cunningham barn, one that a young trainer worked with the likes of D. Wayne Lucas, Dallas Stewart, certainly been around some top horsemen, and she's one that I think really is on the rise with her smaller string. I thought this filly looked great off of the bench. She was really on her toes in terms of the paddock, and this is a considerable step forward in class, but in terms of her physically, I think that she's one that could show a little bit of speed. She was very sharp, obviously wired the field last time out, and she's been pretty sharp in the mornings as well, up there at 9 to 2, Lafitte.
Quick filly, Jeanette, even with the absence of Army Nurse and Sweet Scorecard. This is going to be an exciting race right from the opening bell.
Yeah, no doubt. A little bit different for Jeanette this time. When she broke her maiden, she was post 12 of 12, and she broke extremely sharp. Now she's got the inside draw with the scratches of the 1 and 2. A lot of empty space, a little bit of a different look for her.
Matt Dinneman standing by with the call. It's post time at Oaklawn.
Lady Pippa loading into the gate. Surprise has gone in, Kissing Cash to the outside. We're ready to go. And Lara. Good start from Vigidol from post 9, but Jeanette is quickest. Jeanette flees from the pack early, leads a length and a half. Lady Pippa striding in second, Vigidol back in third. Wasn't quick enough to go with the leaders early. Good call slipping inside of her to be level third. Cha-Ching is next. She's 6 lengths off the lead, the gray. 2 back to Moon over Choctaw. Kissing Cash is joining that rival as well as they go into the far turn. It's Jeanette, the leader a length and a half early from the long shot Lady Pippa, who's in second. Good call on a loose rein running in third. Cha-Ching has taken fourth while under a hard ride to do it, though. Vigidol alongside of her. Gap of 5. Moon over Choctaw just plotting in place. Surprise taking the third last position away from Kissing Cash and Moon over Choctaw as they come to the top of the lane. Jeanette has snuck away to a 3-length edge. Now it's 4 coming off the turn. Vigidol picks up the running in the second position, is coming after the front runner Jeanette. 1 furlong to go. Jeanette by 4. Vigidol, the only one in sight that could beat her. It's Jeanette hitting the 16th pole, swishing her tail around. She's 3 clear still. Vigidol has run a good race, but Jeanette is quickest. Jeanette 2 for 2 to kick off her career. Well conditioned by Jade Cunningham off the layoff. Second home Vigidol. Then came Lady Pippa, and good call.
Broke. Very sharp. Louis Saez let her rip. Jeanette controlling throughout and able to hold off the mild bid of Vigidol to win the 7th race at Oaklawn Park.
Jeanette had that high speed from an outside post. Now she had that high speed from an inside post. She moves when the doors move. I mean, she is quick. This is a really precocious daughter of McKinsey who now makes it 2 for 2 in her abbreviated career.
Didn't love the crop. You saw the reaction, the swishing of the tail. Jeanette, wire to wire in the 7th race at Oaklawn. Aqueduct just moments ago, the 10th and final. Well done, Richie. $13 and change for your would-be $2 investment.
Yeah, well drawn from the outside, aggressively handled. Wayne Potts gets the win here with Timia. It's a nice effort. You know, sometimes when you look at these races of feet, it's more about the horses that you don't feel are as trustworthy, so you'll look maybe just for an alternative. And it became clear to me watching her warm up and then the draw that she was the alternative I wanted.
Jamie Rodriguez, the big afternoon, the 3 victories. You saw he beat Manny Franco in that 10th and final. Franco having to settle for a 2nd place finish, but overall, big picture, Franco and what he's done in 2025, leading all jockeys on the NYRA circuit, another season with 200-plus wins.
Just incredible. And Manny's consistency, his athleticism is always on display. And that's a great source of pride to be the leading rider on the NYRA circuit for the entire year. Very, very difficult to do, and he's done it multiple times now.
How has he changed most? What area of his game has developed and improved over the years?
I really think that he rides the turf a lot better than he used to. I thought that was the one thing that he needed to work on and develop more, but then he got in a position where he's riding more and more for Chad Brown. And Chad definitely wants his horses ridden a particular way, and I think it really taught him. He learned how to ride the turf, more patient, stay in there, quiet. He's always relied on his physical prowess.
Strong.
He's so strong that he'll get to the 8th pole, not have a lot of horse, and he'll find a way to get them there. But when you have to ride a little more patient, you have to rely less on your strength and more on your finesse.
Something to be incredibly proud of. More wins than any other jockey on the NYRA circuit. Manny Franco, 200-plus once again. For Trina Linda Rice, surpassing her own record. Establishing a new mark, 171 victories. Incredible 2025 for Linda Rice.
It's incredible. And to, have the most wins in a single calendar year on the New York Racing Association circuit, a standalone now. And you think about over the years, the trainers that were leading trainer in New York, and immediately the first one that comes to mind for me is Frank Martin. Hall of Famer, one of the best horsemen I've ever been around. You know, just him and Sigmund Summer constantly claiming horses, having turnover. She's trained more winners than him, David Jacobson, and has done it now. We have less racing days than we used to. You know, we would race 260, 270 days a year. Now we're down to less than 200 racing days a year, and she still has the most in history. That says a lot.
And just the dedication, being there every day. Remember, this is how horse racing is so different than most other sports, than just about every other sport. There is no downtime. There is no off season. It's continual. It goes on, and to continue, it's much about the longevity and the consistency showing up every day as anything else.
It's kind of like being on a treadmill. It really never does stop. You know, I always liked winning with my last mount of the week. Like on Sunday, if I won with my last mount, I could feel good about myself until the next racing day, right? You know, I left on a high note.
Get that momentum going. As we just saw moments ago from this filly, she has her momentum going. Jeanette, undefeated, 2 straight starts, fast filly. We check in with Megan, standing by live at Oaklawn.
Well, I'm here with Jade Cunningham, who gets the win here. And as her old boss, Dallas Stewart, passed me, said, she worked for me. And I said, I know, Dallas. And he said to you, no baloney tonight after that win. And it just has to feel good to bring one back off the layoff in that way.
Yeah, super grateful, super exciting. Randy Finnegan's told me what a great filly she is, and she's trained accordingly. So really happy to see her back in the winner's circle.
You've worked for Dwayne Lucas, Dallas Stewart is mentioned. And in terms of bringing horses back off this kind of time away, what are some things that they've been able to teach you over the years?
They're just really good at conditioning. Both of them are really well at conditioning and making sure that they're prepared. So I was able to take time. Randy allowed me to take time with this filly and just putting in the works and the breezes and the long, slow miles. So that all came from Wayne and Dallas.
And can you just speak to, over the years, some memories with Dwayne, as, of course, he's kind of the missing piece here at Oaklawn this week. You've spent a lot of time here at Oaklawn with him. What are some kind of things that cross your mind now that he's gone?
Yeah, so I always say attention to detail. That's his big thing, is attention to detail. As we were coming in the winner's circle, I told my sister to go find a kid, you know, just to honor him the best we can. He was always good about bringing people in, and especially young kids. So just always trying to honor him in that way, because everything's detail-oriented with him, so try to pay a lot of attention to the small things.
Well, he is probably smiling up there down on this win. Congratulations, Jade.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Lafitte?
Ivy League education for a young, aspiring trainer. And for Jade Cunningham, and the work she's done with Jeanette, who knows how to do her job well. Get out of the gate fast, establish the pace, control, and hold everyone off.
Well, she got a little, like, her expression looks mean. If I was another horse, I'd think twice about running up next to her. She's a little evil running thing, but boy, 2 for 2, and she's got speed, gate speed, real gate speed.
Vigidal, 19-1. Lady Pippa, 42-1, completing the trifecta, 396 at Oaklawn Park. With the calendar about to turn, some very good news. Official now. We'll have a chance to see him as a 4-year-old, the Derby winner, the Belmont winner, the Travers winner, enjoying his carrots, well taken care of, sovereignty back for the 2026 campaign. Welcome back. America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 1. Live coverage continuing from Hot Springs, Oaklawn Park. They still have 3 left. We are through at Aqueduct, 10 up and 10 down. Maggie is not done. However, she joins us on set. Are you like defrosted or are you defrosting?
Toes are a serious issue. If I could get a heater up here, that'd be great, guys.
Yeah.
Just
Chop,
saying.
chop,
No, I'm
Mitch.
kidding.
She needs a heater.
No, it really wasn't that bad. I promise.
Chivalry is kind of dead around here, isn't it?
You really only get the good weather days.
It's uncanny,
You know? and
it's not like I planned
What
it.
are you doing? How do you get this luck?
We do feel bad.
Yeah.
It's like an ongoing conversation.
We do.
We do
Okay,
feel
all right,
bad.
okay.
No, but
Talk is cheap,
I get
fellas.
the schedule.
Talk is cheap.
And when I see I'm reporting, it'll be nice today.
Anyway.
Aside from the weather,
Yeah.
some good news we learned yesterday. Officially, that we'll have a chance to see Sovereignty as a 4-year-old. Initially, that was the reason given for why he didn't run in the Preakness Stakes and go after the Triple Crown, was a longer career. But you never know, Maggie. And very often a horse that accomplished, doing everything he did to go off to the breeding shed would have been understandable. But thankfully, as racing fans, we get to see more of Sovereignty.
But to play a little devil's advocate, didn't it almost feel like throughout the year that Bill Mott was so strategic in the timing of his races and, what he did with this horse to kind of develop him to possibly and more than likely set him up for a 4-year-old campaign?
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the reasoning that at least I was able to, ascertain from them not running in the Preakness.
Right.
It just felt like it's too much too soon. We don't want to burn him out. We want to have a horse going forward.
Dubai was a real point of emphasis, the Dubai World Cup.
Right, absolutely. So, but listen, as racing fans, certainly, and as people that cover racing for a living, this is brilliant. I love when horses stick around, Maggie, because it gives us the opportunity to really latch onto them and create a fan base.
Absolutely. You wonder how much of a stamp in history do they actually have if they only, are around for one season. He's really going to solidify himself as one of the great horses in history with a successful 4-year-old campaign.
And even better, his nemesis, who finished second to him in the Kentucky Derby and chased him a few times. Journalism, Richie, he'll be back for a 4-year-old campaign as well.
Well, listen, you got to love Journalism. He's a horse that overcame adversity. He just came along in the wrong year.
Yes.
A lot like Aladar and Affirmed.
Yep.
He just came along in the wrong year.
He did. He was a horse that I loved, going into the Derby, obviously Sovereignty. He would, rise to the top throughout the year. But he showed up and danced every dance.
And maybe he did run in the Preakness. You talk about digging deep in a taxing race. Journalism, it was a demanding campaign and maybe started to fatigue a little bit towards the end of the season. Now with some time off, continues to grow and develop and mature. Really excited to see what he does as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe he can narrow the gap on his main rival in Sovereignty. As a 4-year-old, they change.
It's always fascinating to see who changes, who takes a step forward, who maybe plateaus.
I was really spoiled, Lafitte. So, 77, we had Seattle Slew. He came back as a 4-year-old. In 78, we had Affirmed was the 3-year-old. So they met in the fall of the year. The first 2 Triple Crown winners ever faced each other.
Cool.
Seattle Slew got the measure of Affirmed. Now, the following year, Affirmed as a 4-year-old, Spectacular Bed was a 3-year-old.
Yep.
They met in the fall of the year. Affirmed got Spectacular Bed's measure. So I have been spoiled as a racing fan, particularly as a kid coming around, to see these horses return to have, older horse campaigns.
Yeah, it's really special to have these 2 coming back for sure.
It's not wondering who's going to emerge as the sport's next superstars. We know who they are, and we get to see more of them in 2026. Sovereignty and Journalism. We look forward to that. We look forward to the feature upcoming at Oaklawn Park. So is Julian Leperoux. Looking for another stakes victory in Hot Springs. He'll ride Anna Karina in the upcoming Oaklawn Anywhere.
6 million, 600,000 dollars. $1 million, 600,000 dollars. $1 million, 600,000 dollars bid. Now 650. $1 million, 650. $1 million, 650,000 dollars. Anybody else want $650,000 bid today? $1 million, 650,000 dollars. $1 million, 600,000 dollars. Thank you.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Some horses are remembered, other horses are passed down like an heirloom. He's the kind of horse that lives in stories, each better than the one before. He ran 3 straight years at the highest level, and he himself was elite.
Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be National Treasure. Has opened up a 5-length advantage. It's a 1-horse race.
National Treasure, the key to quality.
It's America's original sport. And no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.
Horses in the paddock for the main event on this Sunday afternoon at Oaklawn Park. Oaklawn Anywhere is next. You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS1. Field and updated odds. Bachelor Party is out. Moto is in. Maggie in a heavily backed odds-on favorite, 4-5.
And she just looks like the speed of the speed. Now, maybe it is Oaklawn. We often do see riders send and be aggressive with their horses. There's several in here that, on paper aren't quite as fast as her, but do seem to do their best running when on top, including the horse right outside of her in Kiana. But Moto, she was devastating in her last performance, which was off of layoff. Richie, do you ever question the regression factor when they put in such a big effort off the bench?
Yeah, I think that's something you always got to worry about, right? They come off the bench, they go deep into themselves to get it done. Does that make them take a step backwards? One thing about Tom, though, Amos, our friend and colleague, tremendous horseman, he puts a lot of foundation in his horses, and I think going into your first start back being fit helps mitigate that regression.
True. That is very true.
Megan, in the paddock, observing Moto, what are you seeing?
Well, I'd agree with you. She is, the number 6 Moto is devastating as far as that speed is concerned. And I also agree in terms of perhaps a bounce back candidate. There's a lot of speed in this race, but taking a look at the number 3 Decadent for the Kenny McPeak barn, one that I thought could be one of those tactical early stalkers to perhaps get the right kind of trip behind some of the speeds in this race. Now, when I looked at her coming off the track into the paddock, and as she took to the indoor paddock, she's one that I understand why they tried turf with her. She kind of looks a little turfy, obviously, as she was in those graded stakes attempts earlier in New York, and she's carrying her flush beautifully. I thought she was one that, again, a little bit lighter framed, and in terms of her turf tries, she definitely didn't embarrass herself in the Grade 3 Winter Memories 3 back, and she's just one of those types of horses that showed her talent early. She's been able to really get that win here at Oaklawn Park, and really looking at these horses is something that I do appreciate, and one that, came back out, as I mentioned, with that strong allowance performance way back in March, where she was 4 wide and really drove down the lane with that strong run. I didn't have any issues with her physically, coming off a good spacing from a strong effort where she was beaten by Fede that day at Churchill Downs. But one that I watched with interest, and I'm very interested to see how she will get back in terms of her progressing forward here at the 6 furlongs, cutting back in distance. But the number 1, Caliente Star for the Tammy Hornsby barn, getting getting back to open company as an Arkansas bred. She was a popular commodity earlier on last year, now coming off of the bench, where We'll catch up with her trainer later, but I thought she looked tremendous off of the time away. She's fit, she's athletic. I think she's another one that could be one of those tactical types. She does have to contend with that inside draw, but she's very much that compact sprinter build. She does have to step up into open foes this time around, but she made a nice account of herself in the paddock. But wanting to take a look a little bit at the number 4, Foie Gras, for Mike Maker, a digital sale purchase. Paradise Farms and Co. had picked this horse up and in that December digital sale, and one that was very tricky in terms of getting the tack on her. She's one that has done this before, but looking like they're successfully being able to do so with her here in the winner's circle. But an interesting group of feet. I'm interested to see if this speed holds here in the Oaklawn Anywhere.
How different is that, Maggie, making your observations in that paddock, in that setting at Oaklawn Park?
You know, it's absolutely astonishing to me when you think about how tight, how, much energy there is, that more horses don't act more negative than they do. They actually kind of get in there and they're just kind of like, oh, I'm just, they're kind of cognizant of those tight quarters where there's a bit of self-preservation more than you would expect from these horses.
These fillies and mares, these 3-year-old fillies, about to parade in front of the fans there at Oaklawn Park. Sunday feature, Oaklawn Anywhere Overnight Stakes, 6-furlong sprint. Moto Richie continues to reign as a heavy 4-5 favorite.
Yeah, she's just run consistently faster than the majority of this field and comes off a really nice effort.
Tom Amoss looking to saddle a second stakes winner on the weekend. Won the Pippin on Friday. Has Moto going here, and this is Team Serengeti Empress. Dr. Joel Politi, the owner. I'm not saying Moto is Serengeti Empress, but she is fast, she's exciting, and today is going to have to face some other fast, talented fillies.
Yeah, and I think that's the concern with Moto at a short price is, will she take so much heat that it'll set it up for somebody that could potentially pick her off late?
To watch right from the start, let's meet the field for this Oaklawn Anywhere Overnight Stakes, starting with Caliente Star, who is 3-4-4 here at Oaklawn.
And Arkansas bred, started her career guns blazing. She's undefeated sprinting. And remember, her figures are all from early, either late 2-year-old, early 3-year-old. She could be an improved filly late in her 3-year-old season.
8-1 currently. Caliente Star, number 2, Baytown Butterfly. She's rattled off 2 straight.
Yeah, looking for her 3rd in a row. Is a bit overmatched as she does step out of a claiming 30 into stakes company, but does have very good connections in her corner. Peter Miller, Ramon Vasquez teaming up here. She's the one that's going to benefit from them heating things up front.
Miller Vasquez won the opening day Advent Stakes, Oaklawn Park. There's a Decadent.
Very interested in Decadent as well. Turning back in distance. She should be outfooted, but will be coming with a run.
The versatile Foie Gras.
Big price on her at 10-1 for new connections. Mike Mager comes off of a win where she did have some trouble.
Going steady. Price cut in half.
Yeah, she's coming out of allowance race where she closed. Another one that would like to see a lot of pace up front.
4-5, Moto.
You know, the biggest problem with her is the dynamics, but she has faced better.
Kiana at 12-1. She's quick.
Could be a little bit of a thorn in the side of Moto, depending on how they decide to use her. She has speed.
More speed. Coaster, number 9, then number 10 here. Anna Karina and Julian Leperoux.
Did face some older company last time, back in with age-restricted company. Look, if she runs her race 3 back, which was her other dirt sprint of this form cycle, she could be in the mix.
Fast 3-year-old fillies. Talented 3-year-old fillies. The Oaklawn Anywhere in 5 minutes. Right back to Oaklawn, and Megan standing by with Caliente Star's trainer, Tammy Hornsby.
Well, wonderful to have met Tammy here today, the first time meeting her, but you send out Caliente Star, who's just been, she just is a pro and does her job well. Now, hopefully relishing that cutback in distance.
We like 6 furlongs. That's her thing. And we tried her a mile a couple of times, and she makes a big middle move, but just not. She can't quite, keep it going. But we're excited about her cutting back in distance and training good. We got our hands full today, but we'll give it a shot.
She's an Archie-bred, as you mentioned, facing open company. What's her identity in the barn, just day to day, and how she handles herself in the barn?
Oh, she's all professional, and she lets you know she's in the barn, and she loves her peppermints and spoiled rotten, but she lets you know she's there.
Have to appreciate her tactical ability, being able to sit off of horses, and looks like she has plenty of speed to work with today.
Yes, we hope it goes out fast and comes back to us.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck, Tammy. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Lafitte.
As fast as some of these fillies are, as fast as the pace could be. Yes, the table should be set for Caliente Star.
Yeah, and listen, Caliente sprints were all good. Obviously, they were against Arkansas breds, but she showed a professionalism very early on, taking kickback, negotiating her way through traffic. She got a lot of education out of her first 2 races, and she won the Rainbow Miss. And then it's okay, let's stretch her out. I don't think she wanted to go longer. Now she's getting back to what she really wants to do, and she could be a much more mature filly now.
And she's undefeated in dirt sprints. So she has that going for her. And watching that last race, she was kind of stalking the pace from the outside. She just looked a bit tired to me there at Prairie Meadows. Now, of course, she too wishes that there was that S in the box next to the other horses in this race.
Sure.
So I think she might get a little outclassed. But as you said, Meg, there is that reason to believe that she could step up her figure, from those early dirt sprints, coming back to what she's proven to do best.
Francisco Arrieta aboard, last season's Oaklawn champion rider, then Decadent, currently 5-1. And then where would you, let's revisit Decadent's last race, actually. This is at Churchill Downs facing Allowance Company and a solid runner-up effort behind a good filly.
Yeah, and listen, she was the one putting the pressure on. She kind of had to get involved maybe a little earlier. Most horses don't have longer than a 1/4 mile run in them. When you've got to start kind of asking them around the far turn, getting into the race more, 3 furlongs out, this is the end result. They come up a little bit late. She jumped back to her left lead. She looked like a tired filly at the end of this. I think the turn back's going to intensify her closing kick. And if you put a line, just disregard her turf races, her form's looking a little bit different, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And, she only has, she doesn't have any fast dirt sprints on her resume. And there's reason to believe that, with a fast track, she could be very good at doing this. And you could play a little devil's advocate with that race, saying, maybe she had every opportunity to go by. She hung a little bit. But to be fair, Fide, I think is how you say it, had everything her own way.
Yes.
I mean, she waltzed around there in the most comfortable lead. And like you said, Meg, she was kind of forced to play her game, which I think resulted in this runner-up effort / her getting a bit tired.
Shortest distance she's ever raced this 6 furlongs for Decadent. Kenny McPeak's stable going well in the first few weeks here at Oaklawn Park, Megan, but they all have to tangle with and defeat Moto 4-5 as we get closer to post time.
Well, checking in with some of those horses that should flash that early speed, and then the favorite here in the number 6 Moto. And I still have my reservations, as said before. I think she's going to be pressured up front. She's going to have to, she's going to be extremely quick. We know she is. And in terms of her physically, she's just a short, compact, unassuming sprinter, out and out dirt sprinter by Liam's map, and one that just professional in the paddock, clued in. I had no issues with her as the favorite. My primary issue, as I mentioned, is she going to get outgunned with that pressure on the front end? And I'm not willing to accept an overly short price with the likelihood of her doing so with the number 10, Anna Karina, there for the Dallas Stewart barn, getting a nice win yesterday, but one that is fast from the outside. Their time form US pace figures, the number 10's a bit quicker early, and she she's got an engine on her. She's just that short-bodied, compact Vacoma, very typical. Didn't have any issues with her in the paddock either. She's well turned out, well meant, carrying her flesh very well. I don't have any physical issues with either of these horses, but they're so fast, they're so quick, both here at the 6 furlongs, that I just couldn't help myself turning to the number 3 Decadent there. As a tactical angle, I really like her cutting back to this flat 6 furlongs, as Megan Maggie landed perfectly as far as the dynamics of that race, kind of that move that she made, and having to kind of that early move that could have likely taken it out of her. Now she's getting to a fast track. She's got that tactical ability, and I just worry, I'm hesitant on perhaps the regression of your favorite. So I landed on the 3 Decadent here for the Kenny McPeak barn, Lafitte.
5-1 second choice, Megan. Decadent. Moto 4-5. Richie, if you're Luis Saez, do you care what anybody else, what any other jockeys are doing in the race? Or are you strictly focused on the filly you're riding, and is it pedal to the metal right from the opening bell?
You know, Louis' style is to be aggressive anyway, and if you believe you're on the best horse, why get fancy? Why even invite anybody into the race? I'm going to bounce out of there like I'm throwing down the gauntlet. I want it. Now then, if somebody is intent and they're on a suicide mission, go ahead. I'm laying second in the clear. But you only set that up by coming out aggressively.
Trying to get a filly switched off. If someone else is going much faster and the pace is torrid, turning a fast filly off, the concerns there and what can go wrong shortly thereafter?
Well, that's it. I mean, you got to have some familiarity with the horses you're riding as well, because if some horses you turn them on, that's it. You're not going to get them switched back off. But, that's when we talk about jockeys and hands, that's one of the things that we're talking about, the ability to convey that message through your hands, through the reins, to the horse's mouth, and get them to cooperate with you.
Final thoughts, Maggie?
I'm just going to let you and Megan take this one. I feel like when we're all on the same horse, they don't win. I'm kidding. No, I do like Moto here. She is the horse to beat, but I think Decadent is very, very dangerous just based upon the dynamics we were discussing.
Looking forward to this one. Moto odds on for trainer Tom Amos. Matt Ditterman with the call. The Oaklawn Anywhere Stakes live on FS1.
And then to the outside post, Anna Karina to round out the field. Here's Anna Karina coming up to the gate. Go again. We're ready to go. And we're off. Going steady into steady right at the break. Anna Karina to the lead at once. Kiana moving up, and these two hook up in the first furlong here. Foie Gras runs in third. Coaster is alongside of her. There's a gap of 3. Moto usually towards the front of the field, and today she's 5th. She's 6 or 7 behind. Loose Rein by Luis Saez in that 5th spot. Baytown Butterfly to the inside. Decadent is back in the 3rd last spot. Going steady, has passed Caliente Star as they go into the far turn. Anna Karina wings it on the lead. Went very quick. 21 and 1/5 seconds. Kiana in chase mode second. Coaster, Foie Gras, they are moving together as Kiana starts to weaken around the turn. Here comes Moto now. Moto is moving up. She's 4 behind at the quarter pole. Foie Gras, Coaster trying to get into the race now as they come off the turn. Anna Karina off the turn. Foie Gras putting up a strong challenge. Coaster on the grandstand side is 3rd, and Moto is 4th right now with 1 furlong to go. It's Foie Gras with the lead. Foie Gras by 3. Coaster trying hard in second, but it's Foie Gras coming to the line. Coaster into second. Moto beaten, not her day today. Foie Gras to win the Oaklawn Anywhere overnight. Coaster's second. Anna Karina 3rd. Baytown Butterfly 4th.
Upset in the Oaklawn overnight. Foie Gras, Ricardo Santana in the feature in Hot Springs. Wow.
She was always in forward position. Moto didn't have the same amount of speed. The 10 horse was able, in actuality, to clear off Anna Karina. But Foie Gras, I went with Decadent. I guess it was the other Decadent one, Foie Gras, right?
I do love that table. She's out of the damn table manners as well. This was a different Foie Gras than what we've seen in the past. Like I said, she had trouble in her last start. I'm not saying it may have been her own doing. She kind of had to steady into the turn. Then she had to go 4 wide. Then it looked like she was lugging in. I didn't see any of that type of performance. She was more forward today. She was handier for Ricardo Santana. And again, she really leveled off nicely in the end.
Was Moto simply outrun early? Was she sluggish leaving the gate? Why did the race unfold different than I think most anticipated?
Honestly, I think she was just flat. You know, we were talking about the potential for that regression up there. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. She just didn't seem to have the same energy level that she did last time.
That's one part of the story. The odds-on favorite, a non-factor in the end. Moto, Foie Gras takes full advantage, still full of herself. Ricardo Santana, who rode her sire Volatile to a Grade 1 victory at Saratoga, the Alfred G. Vanderbilt. He couldn't stay sound. We didn't see enough of him, but man, what a talented sprinter her sire Volatile.
He was so fast, and he could run the turn. I mean, some horses, I call them southpaws, right? They get on their left lead, and they just kind of throw it in that other gear, and then they almost smother the field around the turn. He used to run the turns as good as a horse can.
Sire of Foie Gras, Ricardo Santana, Mike Maker. They have surprised us before when a Breeders' Cup event at a massive price, 12-1 winner in the feature at Oaklawn. Much more coming your way, plus some of the highlights of 2025. What a year, memorable moments, Rebels romance included. That's next. Great to have you with us this Sunday afternoon / evening on FS1, America's Day at the Races. Hot Springs, Arkansas, a great town, not just a racing town. Of course, days like this, yes, it's a racing town and a feature race, resulting in an upset with Foie Gras at 12-1. Ricardo Santana Richie, 8-time Oaklawn champion jockey, standing by with Megan at Oaklawn.
Well, Ricardo, you've returned home and a stakes win yesterday in New York, back at Oaklawn, yet another one. Talk me through your trip.
Well, she's classy filly. The boss lady, she don't think that's her first horse, right? Her first horse, she picked it in herself. I got pressure and I said I need to win the race for her. You know, she's so sweet. And thank to her, the boss, Mike, and all the team, you know, give me an opportunity in this filly. She was most the best day.
And she's one that really settled into herself nicely as far as this trip was concerned. But just talk me through some of the expectations. Coming back to Oaklawn, robust colony this season, as far as what you and PJ Campo, you've certainly made a mark in New York coming back here at Oaklawn.
Well, I need to give a lot of credit to my man PJ. He's doing an amazing job. You know, started from the bottom with him again, and we're doing great. You know, we have an amazing 2025. I'm really blessed. I'm really happy, and congratulations to my men too.
Well, best of luck. You'll ride Oscar's Hope next weekend in the Smarty Jones. Therefore, at Tom Amos, looking for some more stakes success here at Oaklawn.
Thank you so much.
Lafitte.
First step, first prep, offering Derby points. Smarty Jones will be live on site at Oaklawn. Ricardo Santana here. Foie Gras, he referenced just the year winding down. As good as I've ever seen him ride. Ricardo Santana this past summer at Saratoga.
Absolutely, and it was funny about, when we were making one of our trips out there to Oaklawn in the springtime, he came up to me, he said, Maggie, what do you think about, and obviously talking to several people about it, but what do you think about me coming to New York and having PJ Campo as my agent? I said, do it.
Do it.
Yeah. Same conversation, and my same reaction was the same. Do it. He's fit in well. And, he's one of those riders, just ride. Don't allow yourself to get distracted or involved with any other nonsense. Put your blinkers on and do your job every day. And Ricardo's as talented as anybody.
And I don't know the actual number, but we watched trainer Steve Asmussen win his 1,000th race at Oaklawn earlier today. Ricardo Santana rode a lot of those.
Yeah. And a lot of things, over the years, Steve will have a go-to rider, a first call kind of rider. And inevitably, it happens with all jockeys and trainers. They go their separate ways. They split up. But it's devastating when you lose an outfit like Steve because the sheer volume, you've had to turn down a lot of other trainers to stick with him.
And he's now had to kind of, reformulate his career, if you will, because you go from being a rider who's riding exclusively for a massive outfit to having to ride for all different types of barns and all different horses. So that requires a little bit more work in the morning, too, of putting your face out there and getting on a lot more horses.
Harder work in the morning. And his agent, PJ Campo, did an incredible job. He had him riding for basically everybody in Saratoga.
It's a complete reset, and he wins a stakes race in upset fashion moments ago, Foie Gras at Oaklawn. So what do you do at the end of the year, getting ready for the calendar to turn? There's a lot of reflection, and certainly in this sport we look back and think back to some of the moments that really stuck, some of our favorite moments over the past 12 months. Richie, what stands out to you as your favorite moment as a racing fan?
So many great moments this year. I thought we had some amazing racing, but for me, it's always about the two-year-olds. We're, in a game where we're living in the moment, we're focused on the moment, but we're always looking to the corner of our eye, at least to the future. The professionalism that Ted Nafi showed in the Hopeful. Now, obviously, it was impressive because he dominated the field. He drew off, won by many lengths. But just the way he waited on Johnny Velasquez's cues, he did not run like a typical two-year-old. And I've been blessed to see a lot of great hopefuls, a lot of great horses over the year. Going back to Affirmed when I was standing there at the rail when he won the Hopeful. And it harkened back to that feeling to me that this is a special individual. And he's borne it out so far, everything he's done as a two-year-old, right? He came back with the two-turn win at Keeneland, Grade 1, the Breeders' Fraternity, then the Breeders' Cup. He is your two-year-old champion. And if he takes even an incremental step forward as a three-year-old, he is going to be a horse that's going to be fun for us to cover all year long.
He'll be 3 in a couple of days, and look forward to seeing what he does en route to the Triple Crown. How he fares in the Triple Crown, of course, has to get there first. Ted Nafi will be crowned champion two-year-old in 2025. Maggie, for you, what moment, what story, what horse, what was your favorite moment of 2025?
Happened right here at the Big A, and that was this year's Joe Hurst Turf Classic with Rebels Romance just dominating. And there's no other horse in racing like him, right? This horse jumps all around the world, from Shatin to the Middle East to England, here in the States. And it was so good to see him do this because 3 years ago, he had that terrible fall in Saratoga. Then he came here. He did not run particularly well in this race in 2023. Then he had to regroup himself as he was looking for his 3rd Breeders' Cup turf win. He would be denied after this win, but he's such a cool-looking horse, too. He's this big, nearly black horse, but has these eyes, kind of light brown eyes that just look right through you. And watching him do that here at the Big A was so amazing. It's like one of those cool horses that runs here that you don't ever think of running here.
Globe-trotting war horse who's earned about $1 zillion, Rebels Romance. Megan is with us at Oaklawn. Megan, for you, over the last year, your favorite moment in thoroughbred racing?
Well, I've had a lot of pinch me moments this year because I've been able to work with you guys. So just starting there, that's my favorite moment of the year. But the Cigar Mile Day was just very special to me in general. The last at Aqueduct, my first ever time to be able to be there. And Zany and the Demoiselle was just so impressive just to watch her be able to take such it was an aggressive placement. 6 furlong winner at Gulfstream Park, and then she turns around and dominates on her very first asking, around 2 turns, a daughter of American Pharaoh, one that I just find is just so impressive. She ran a faster figure than the boys did, that 89 Beyer speed figure than the boys in the Remsen, which I think those 2 colts are all class. So I really think she's going to be very interesting as she continues on in her journey to Louisville and the Kentucky Oaks next year. Todd Pletcher has sent out so many of those just classy race mares there in the Demoiselle, and I know he had kind of joked with me in that interview that Mike Rapoli had didn't want to run her there, and that was the opposite. Mike Rapoli was eager to run her there in the Demoiselle, and it certainly paid off, and she just looks like she's all class. Very excited to see how she continues forward into her 3-year-old campaign, Lafitte.
It circles back to what you were referencing, Richie, with the 2-year-olds, Zany and the Demoiselle, Ted Nafi at Saratoga. It's not just about that moment winning that these prestigious races, but it's what it represents for the future and what we have a chance to look forward to.
Absolutely. Again, we're focused on the moment, right? We've got to deliver. We've got to bring it on that day. But in racing, we're always thinking about the future. Where's the next stop? Where's it going to take us to? And obviously, with a race like the Hopeful for Ted Nafi, the name says it all. The Hopeful. That's why it's named that. What we're hopeful for tomorrow.
The perfect segue, Richie Migliore, because we look ahead to what's going to happen next year here on the NYRA circuit and some of the key dates. 196 racing days in 2026. The Belmont Stakes back at Saratoga for a 3rd consecutive year. Final day of racing here at Aqueduct, the 28th of June. 46 days this summer at Saratoga. I wish that was the answer to every problem in racing. I wish it was that simple, Maggie, when you could just say, you know what, we'll just race at Saratoga.
Yeah, if only, as what will be actual, is it 50 or 51 days total?
This 46 at Saratoga this year?
Yeah.
46.
It's 46?
Well, but then with the Belmont
Stakes there, I think it's, yeah.
Got it.
So anyway, I mean, we are good. You know, we're going out with a bang here, as this will be likely the last year we have the Belmont Stakes at Saratoga. But I mean, the energy there on Belmont Stakes Day the past 2 years is nothing like I've ever experienced at any other time, at any other place.
Well, you're bringing a classic, right? A Belmont Stakes to a town that embraces racing like no other. You know, much like Oaklawn, right, at Hot Springs, everybody goes out at night to restaurants. What's the conversation?
Oh, yeah.
It's about racing and what happened that day, what's going to happen tomorrow. And bringing the Belmont Stakes there, those fans appreciate it so much. And the venue lends itself to that too, right? Everybody's kind of in closer proximity.
Yeah,
and they
feed off that energy.
Oh,
exactly. And the horses respond to that as well, I think.
And before long, we'll have the opening, the reimagined, the brand new Belmont Park. So much to look forward to. A Breeders' Cup returning to Belmont Park. The future very bright for New York racing. And we look ahead to the 9th at Oaklawn, where the horses have arrived in the paddock. Steve Asmussen, having celebrated his 1,000th win at Oaklawn earlier today, now looking for 1,002 in Hot Springs.
Oaklawn Hot Springs is here for when you need to break away, when you want to reward yourself, when you deserve to indulge, when you want to be close to the action. It's all here. So what are you waiting for? Live racing starts December 12th. So plan your stay at Oaklawn Hot Springs. And come join the fun.
And it's lights out, locked, pouring it on, running aggressively through the stretch to win by 7 easy lengths.
Here is Locked. Locked racing by on the outside for the lead. Locked, the wine steward, it is Locked.
Here comes Locked after Mulligan. Locked catching with every single stride, and Locked will win the Cigar Mile.
It's all about Locked, dominating the big cap, cruising home to an effortless 8-length romp.
This holiday season, give the gift of racing with Naira Bets gift cards. Share your passion with friends and family or instantly fund your own account. Choose the amount and redeem online. Find gift cards under the promotions tab at NairaBets.com.
Welcome back. You're watching America's Day at the Races on FS1. Happy holidays. As always, coverage brought to you by Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Visit NairaBets.com or download the Naira Bets app to get started. And with the Oaklawn coverage, you can score a 10% bonus today on your win bets at Oaklawn Park. Happy holidays, everyone. Getting ready to wind down 2025. And winding down things at Oaklawn Park with the 9th of 10 brewing. 6 minutes out, post-parade, $40,000 claimers, 1 mile. They make the turn. Let's meet the field. We need a favor. Who is 0 for 6? Lifetime at Oaklawn seeking that first win in Hot Springs.
Yeah, I don't like that 0 for 6 at Oaklawn. I do think it's a place where horses either really care for the track or they don't. This horse has had speed at times. In a race with no speed, he would be wise to revert to showing some speed.
Separate favorite, Papa Yo. Little feast or famine.
I agree, Lafitte. And I know he's dropping a bit here and his numbers add up, but he hasn't really gotten close lately.
Long shot, Shifty Gold. Contender, King Peanut.
I think King Peanut could be the speed here. If I'm Fernando Yara, Katie bar the door. Let's go. Catch me.
Yellow Brick, Abel Cedillo in the purple 10-strike colors.
Total opposite of King Peanut. Yellow Brick, he's a plotter. He'll be hoping they heat things up front.
Well bred, Hollywood Ending.
0 for 5 at Oaklawn, but can lay up close. Could get the right kind of trip here.
0 for 4 at Oaklawn Magna Tap, number 8.
Yeah, I mean, the bulk of the work has been done on the turf. Does have one dirt effort, but it's not fast enough.
Barricade, Amir Mendoza with a pair of wins yesterday.
He get into the dirt for the first time, 2 back, and ran extremely well, and then a little over the head last time, back in a more appropriate spot.
Number 10, Lear, parked outside.
I thought he was a little bit interesting. I know he comes off a little bit of a short break here, but comes out of a 6-furlong race in which that one was dominated on the front end, and I've seen him in the past at Oaklawn, and to me, he just looks like a horse that wants to go 2 turns.
Late double about to take place. 4 minutes out, race number 9, $40,000 claimers. Right back to Oaklawn. Megan, trackside, starting with Papa Yo, the favorite. Which version of Papa Yo, Megan, do we see today?
Well, I'd agree with Maggie. He just hasn't been all that close, and his figures match up, and he's also kind of he's on the better end of the stick, I would say, as far as the way this race is written. And you can kind of find some of these interesting races at Oaklawn Park that are written a bit detailed, I would say. And kind of the difference in this spot versus perhaps maybe a non-winners of 3 lifetime claimer is that if a horse wins a race where the claiming tag was $20,000 or less, those victories do not count as far as those types of races. So that's kind of where Papa Yo maybe has an edge on this group. A 6-time winner, 6 for 18, and one that I didn't have any problems with him. He is the one to beat on facts and figures alone. And as that key condition mentioned above, kind of why he's able to win is because he won cheaper. And there's not a ton of early pace. I think that his gig is being able to get more forward. He's just been kind of shuffled back in his races there, routing and even further than this mile distance, which he gets back to yet again. And again, kind of outrun, shuffled against those starter allowance groups, and kind of gets into much different class situation, which is why you can obviously see him taking money. And I'm hoping that he can be a little bit more forwardly placed and involved in this group. The number 9 Barricade for the Peter Miller barn, who retains Amir Mendoza, who, by the way, has been riding outstanding. His agent, Jose Santos, has just been putting him in the right positions. Coming here for the very first time, fantastic start. I liked this horse, and one that, again, a little bit more of a tactical stalker, one that the blinkers do come on, cuts back in distance to that mile, which I think will be to his benefit, and one that, you know, he was claimed off the likes of Todd Pletcher, then there with Joe Sharp. Those are some pretty difficult barns to be claimed out of, and he was an expensive $725,000 son of Quality Road. He looks absolutely fantastic to me. Just the pick as far as if I'm looking at who looks the best physically in this group, and he made sense to me. It does contend with that outside post, kind of getting into that position, but he should be a tactical and well meant there for the Peter Miller barn, who's been seeing the ball well here in the early parts of the meet at Oaklawn, as he does. But a long shot I was interested is the number 4 Shifty Gold there. Likely an overlay, and that's exactly what he is. And I found that last out, he just was wiped at the start. He had some trouble. He was kind of, I wouldn't say wiped, but he was in tight early. He was steadied along the rail, then he fell back and just really didn't make any sort of indentation after that, in against much tougher. So if you take that race out, forgive him, then you realize he was back in the Chad Brown barn. This horse has some form that really does stack up against this group. I did land on the number 9 Barricade, but I thought if I were making an exacta box, I wouldn't want to leave out the 4 there at a big price. Lafitte.
4-1 over 26-1, Megan, in this 9th race. Oaklawn, remember, it is a mile. They run to the short wire, Richie. It's for the jockeys. They have to ride the race a little bit differently. Our viewers have to watch the race a little differently.
Yeah, so it's a short stretch. It's 110 yards shorter than the regular wire, so they're finishing at the 16th pole. But we've seen this quite a bit, and we saw it in the last race yesterday at Oaklawn, where riders almost overcompensate, right? And they put their horse into gear going into the far turn, and they're getting late. And then the horse is a little more patiently handled, has been able to pick them off. So in a race that's void of speed, I'm going to pick the 5 King Peanut and hope that he gets comfortable on the lead. And I hope that Fernando Yara pulls the rug and tries to have about 3 by the time they turn for home.
I think it does. It is pretty difficult to make up that ground because you're doing your most meaningful running. It feels like at least halfway around the turn.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I feel like horses gain their momentum. Most horses through the stretch. Some horses love to run a turn and get their momentum that way. But yeah, it's a difficult configuration for horses to be good at. And I think your tactic of taking the speed horse makes a lot of sense. I'm going with one that I hope, not that he has had a lot of speed, but some of his go-back 2-turn races, number 10, Lear, has shown that he can be forward, and the fact that he's coming out of a sprint, and he did break well that day, and he's on the outside again, and he has the bug boy again, that he will be a bit more forward.
As they have reached the starting gate, Papa Yo 5-2. And yeah, you want to see Fernando Jara let her rip right from the start. Pedal to the metal, King Peanut.
Bounce out of there, open up 2, grab the race, control it. And then if you've set up an advantage, you've gotten it soft on the lead, at some point, use that trump card. Use that advantage.
Fall, it's going to be 20 years since he won that Breeders' Cup Classic with Invasor, Fernando Jara. 20 years
let's make
since
us feel old today.
Defeated Bernardini, and it was about as
Wow.
dark at Churchill that evening as it is here in New York. Sun's still out at Oaklawn, though. We still have racing left. The 9th, they're in the gate. Start of the late double. Here's Matt Dinneman.
Still working with Magnatap to go into the starting gate. Start of the $5 late daily double here. That late double always $5 minimum starting this season with that industry low 15% takeout. King Peanut goes in. 2 back behind the gate. Barricade and Lear. Barricade will be up first, and then to the outside post Lear for apprentice Ronnie Huckabee. 5-2 for both number 9 Barricade and number 2 Papa Yo. Lear goes in. And with that, we're ready to go. And Lear off. Lear on the far outside, blasts out of the gate. Papa Yo sent for speed. Shown rain by Asael Espinoza to show speed. He's got a narrow lead here. We need a favor. Quarter horsed out of there, though. And there he goes to the front from the inside. We need a favor. Papa Yo, now in a hold, is asked to relax right behind, but press the issue from the outside. King Peanut 3 wide, the Arkansas bred, facing Open Company today. Lear gets to the rail after breaking from the outside post. He's in a good spot now, 2 behind. Another 4 back to Shifty Gold. Hollywood ending there together. Yellow Brick is 3rd last, a length and a half clear of Barricade. And Magna Tap can see them all down the back stretch they go. Contested pace, and they went decent for the dirt here at Oaklawn. 23-1 that first quarter. We need a favor. Neck in front. Papa Yo settles into stride on the outside of him. Lear gets closer down on the fence. He's 3rd, while King Peanut is shaken up from an outside position. A length and a half to Hollywood ending going into the turn. Shifty Gold, under pressure between horses, is losing ground as they go into the turn. Just had to steady there. Yellow Brick has passed him, begins a move. He's 5 behind, rounding the turn. Magna Tap is trailing, and Barricade needs to get going. Has 8 lengths to make up. Remember, this race went at the 16th pole. Papa Yo going for home. We need a favor. 2.5 behind, now 3. Barricade, the one that can beat Papa Yo, it appears. He's charging on the outside, and even Yellow Brick's in with a shot. They're off the turn. Papa Yo with the lead. Barricade on the outside, moving with Yellow Brick. 1 furlong to go. It's Papa Yo in front. Papa Yo by 3. Second, Barricade, and then Yellow Brick. Papa Yo, Asael Espinoza to win it by 3 lengths. Barricade was 2nd. Yellow Brick 3rd. And Magna Tap was 4th.
Feast or famine? A feasting this evening. Papa Yo makes the lead. Proves too tough to catch in his 9th at Oaklawn Park.
I think the lead was the place you wanted to be, Maggie,
Yeah,
in this race?
Absolutely. As we mentioned before, they sprung the latch. That just having a forward position is optimal in these mile races at Oaklawn. And at the end of the day, too, the numbers don't lie. And I know there were some bad ones in there, but consistently, he just looked a touch faster than the rest of the field.
And, you know, Megan touched on it too, Lafitte. I mean, this was his 7th win. The races that he won didn't count against him because the purses weren't big enough to count against him. So this horse has more of a winning profile.
Yep.
Also referenced Barricade, a solid effort to complete the exacta, but look at that. No catching Papa Yo. We touched on this yesterday. Just that angle, that perspective from up above and how it accentuates the acceleration and who's really doing the moving in the stretch.
I think it's a game changer,
I love
these
it.
drone shots.
I love it. Even when you watch some of, you know, like Churchill, for instance, when they have to break out of that mile chute and you can't see anything from a pan shot, that is integral to watching races, and I'm so glad that they have it at Oaklawn.
The Kentucky Derby, I don't feel like I've watched it yet until I see the drone.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it gives you a completely different perspective. It brings you into the race.
Yep.
And here, Papa Yo. She was on her game this afternoon. As you mentioned, a 7th lifetime victory as she strikes in the 9th of 10 at Oaklawn Park. It results when we come back in a 2-9-6-8 unofficial order of finish. Welcome back. America's Day at the Races on FS1. Going way too fast. Got to pump the brakes.
It's like riding with me.
That is exactly like riding with Maggie. Why do we let her drive? Why does she always wind up in the driver's seat?
Get there fast. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, peas in a pod. Peas in a pod. Out in Hot Springs, Papa Yo, she was pretty quick. Gave this field the slip and racks up that 7th lifetime win, first here at Oaklawn.
A horse with a winning profile, 7th career win, and just the right move here. There was not a lot of pace. Grabbed control of the race early, Maggie, and just had plenty left in the stretch.
It felt like just a total niche spot for this horse, right? You know, where he'd been trying and knocking his head against, you know, ALer then, starter allowance company. He had the wins, honestly, you know, nearly half of them, and he was able to get another one here. So he just dominated.
Papa Yo in the 9th, turning the page. Nightcap, Arkansas Breds, $20,000 allowance, optional, claiming sprint, 6 furlongs, fillies and mares. Field and updated odds wide open. 10th race next from Oaklawn Park Plus. It's where it started, at least on the racetrack for Smarty Jones. Debuted, I believe, here at Aqueduct, but that run towards the Triple Crown through Hot Springs in the Rebel in the Arkansas Derby, 21 years. It'll be 21 years. We'll revisit.
Bright future indeed. Bright future, the son of Curlin to win by 4. Bright future, Proxy, here's the line. Photo finish, Bright future.
Bright future, look at that. Bright future, the class prevails.
Bright future, standing at Claiborne Farm.
You bet with Naira Bets. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. Download the Naira Bets app to play today and get a $200 deposit bonus. Watch live horse racing, get expert picks, boost your bankroll with weekly promotions, and hone your handicapping skills with exclusive tips and tutorials. Download the Naira Bets app now. Sign up now to claim your $200 deposit match bonus. You bet with Naira Bets.
Cyberknife was a very talented horse from day one. A very gifted, fast horse, a lot of speed, able to carry it around 2 turns. Looks a tremendous amount like Gun Runner, same ability and talent, beautiful physical, outworked every horse on the board. Holds the track record in the Haskell. He won it in impressive fashion, beating a very good group of horses.
And Cyberknife has won the TVG.com Haskell over Tava. Jack Christopher finished 3rd.
The Arkansas Derby was one of his best. Showed how much talent he really does have and stamped himself as one of the best 3-year-olds in the country.
His name is Cyberknife!
Cyberknife ranks up there as one of the most talented horses I've ever had in training. Multiple Grade 1 winner, brought it every time you let him over there. Excited about him passing on his durability, his soundness, and his talent. And if he does, he could definitely be a breed-shaping stallion.
We bought his mother. Smarty was her second foal. He was small.
I wasn't impressed. When he stepped off the van, I was actually there, and they had sent 2 horses. The second horse was actually what I thought was the better looking of the 2 horses. I thought right away, oh, that must be Smarty Jones, and I was wrong. It didn't take him long to show us he had some talent. How much he had, we weren't sure yet.
Second race was the Pennsylvania Nursery Stakes. He won by 15 lengths.
You know, when I first rode the horse, I didn't know anything about him. I rode a lot of horses for John Service, and he broke really good, and I thought he was going too fast. I was hoping that he wouldn't stop, and he didn't.
So his 3rd start was in the Count Fleet.
We knew that if we could get him to settle and relax and, you know, bottle up that speed, that he could really be something, which he was.
Smarty Jones will roll home at 2-5.
And he passed with flying colors. And that was the race that I talked to Mr. and Mrs. Chapman about, possibly maybe putting him on the Derby trail.
My husband said, John, what are we going to do now? And John said, well, I think we're going to go to Arkansas. And my husband said, Arkansas?
And I go, I understand, Chappie, but I think this is the best route. So that's what we did. I love the fact that the races extended in distance with every race. You know, the Southwest being a mile, and then the Rebel being a mile and 16th, and the Arkansas Derby being a mile and 1/8, leading into the Kentucky Derby at a mile and 1/4, I thought was great.
Smarty Jones continues undefeated, wins the Southwest by 3/4.
And I knew right then, I said, well, that answered the heart question. You know, he definitely has the heart. You know, he'll be a lot stronger next time.
Smarty Jones in full stride and pulling away. He's one step closer to $5 million.
Well, there was a little pressure on us going into the Arkansas Derby because to be eligible for the Derby, the Rebel and the Southwest weren't graded. And I told Chappie, I said, you know, if he's 1-2, it gets him in the Derby. If he's not 1-2, we're probably not going to point for the Derby anyway.
Here they come into the stretch of the Arkansas Derby, and it is Smarty Jones who takes command and draws clear by 3 lengths.
The term Smarty Party was when we were racing at Oaklawn Park. If Smarty wins, there will be one huge Smarty Party. Everybody will be celebrating.
Oaklawn, they really loved that horse. It just seemed like everybody loved that horse no matter where he went.
They loved him at Oaklawn, and we loved being at Oaklawn. We had so much fun out there.
He had everything. In terms of capturing the public's imagination, the catchy name, his background, refused to lose, undefeated, the first undefeated Kentucky Derby winner since Seattle Slew. Smarty Party indeed.
This is a great story, and it just underscores the fact that a good horse can come from anywhere. And I love that racing kind of, it's a great equalizer. You can have a titan of industry, a sheik, a wealthy family buying horses. But then a horse like this can show up for, people that weren't as high profile.
Smarty Jones encapsulated the American dream.
Yeah.
He showed that through hard work, determination, and grittiness, that you can achieve big things. And boy, did he ever. And I think that's what really captured the American, imagination, all the fans that eventually jumped into the Smarty Party.
The excitement of everyone involved, and Pat Chapman when she got the call that he was being nominated and he would be inducted into the into the Racing Hall of Fame at Saratoga, the fitting, perfect ending to a great story and a great horse.
Yeah, the fairy tale ending, right? And he gets inducted, enshrined in Racing's Hall of Fame. It's such an interesting thing, too. I think we were all so hungry at that point to see a Triple Crown winner. It had been so many years, right? And I remember being a kid in the 70s, before Secretariat, people were saying it's too difficult because there hadn't been one since 1948. By the end of the 70s and 3 Triple Crown winners, it's too easy. We got to make it harder. It is exactly what it's supposed to be. Hard and a very difficult thing to accomplish.
Only loss of his career, the runner-up effort to Birdstone in that Belmont Stakes. His legacy honored, remembered with the first of 4 Kentucky Derby prep races at Oaklawn Park, with the Smarty Jones Stakes coming up next Saturday. Will be on site. They've drawn the field 9 strong. These 3-year-olds, a mile and a 16th. Strategic Risk, number 7, to be ridden by Javier Castellano. Megan is with us. And Megan, Strategic Risk, getting ready for his 3-year-old debut. In terms of his training, what have you observed watching him prepare for these Smarty Jones in the mornings?
I like this horse. I'm just thankful for the Cassie barn in general for letting me come and bother them, what feels like every morning, checking on horses, as they have just a lot of talented stabled stars in the barn and have been great to check in with. But Strategic Risk is one I find is a quick horse. He comes off a 9-length win last time out down in Florida, and he's one that I love his tactical ability. He's one that was able to just pull off and draw off last time out at Gulfstream Park, and I liked this move here. He will be on the outside in company there. I loved the way he was moving. He galloped out with energy. He's been doing very well since getting to Oaklawn. I liked seeing him get over the surface. His horses, this can kind of be a little bit of a heavier, taxing type ground on these horses, especially coming in from Gulfstream. So I really like the way that he's been training. I think this is just a fantastic field from top to bottom. We've got the undefeated Rancho Santa Fe shipping in on Monday for the Brad Cox barn, but don't leave out our colleague Tom Amos as he sends in last out black type winner Oscar's Hope, who is one that won the same race that Cole Battle did in that Jean Lafitte before Cole Battle came on, and of course just was able to get those graded stakes wins here at Oaklawn Park. So I think it's a very competitive group, lots to go through, and I can't wait to cover it all right alongside of you, Lafitte.
Look forward to it, Megan. Smarty Jones, 3-year-olds in this road to the first Saturday in May through Hot Springs. Maggie, it's the points offered. It's the most lucrative path en route to the Kentucky Derby, these series of prep races.
Yeah, 100%. What did they boost the Arkansas Derby up to now?
1.5, I believe.
Yeah. As this Smarty Jones, picking through the field, it's my first time looking at it in the last 5 minutes. It's just highly competitive, Meg. I mean, you could kind of make a case for anybody in there nearly.
Yeah, and there's, some questions about some of them. Changing surfaces, right? Silent Tactic, coming off of synthetic races. A horse like Boca Beach Club, who's shown brilliant speed, stretching out. This is when we're all trying to sort through and find out the answers. Is this going to be a horse that is going to take us to Louisville on the first Saturday of May, or do we have to look for different outlets?
Very productive road to the Derby in recent years. It all gets started next weekend. The Smarty Jones 3-year-olds taking center stage. Look forward to getting back to Hot Springs. But first things first, this 10th and final on a Sunday afternoon. Horses in the paddock, riders up, post parade 11 minutes out to the nightcap at Oaklawn.
First and foremost, it's a family operation. It's fun to be a fourth-generation president of Oaklawn and to see how we've grown. We've been in the same location. We haven't had to move across the street. That's kind of neat. It is about racing at Oaklawn. We tell everyone, especially our new employees, it's racing first. My great-grandfather, Louis Sella, built it in 1904. Charles Sella took over after him. John Sella took over after him, and then we had another Charles Sella. My father take it over, and now we have Louis Sella. We like keeping the same names in the family. It helps with monogramming. I would sit in on meetings, even at a young age, my father would take me and say, you know, be quiet and sit in the corner, and I'd do and just listen. And throughout my life, I've been involved with racing, and it's always been really a part of me until finally when it was time to move in and commit. You can look at our media guide, which is published online as well, and look at that history. It's remarkable. We've beaten Prohibition, and we've gone through a couple of world wars and Vietnam and depressions, recessions. Truly, the reason we're successful is for the reasons I just said, that we've been able to evolve, we've been able to change with the times. Beyond that, it's racing first, and really the oldest family in racetrack management in the United States, and we're very proud of that, and we're proud of that legacy, and we think that racing is successful and exciting and has a great future if you believe in it, and if you put your heart and soul in it, and you go forward with that mentality. We see that with our employees, we see that with our trainers, our horsemen, we see that with the horse owners that fly in from coast to coast because of the excitement that we have here at Oaklawn.
Family endeavor through and through. Incredible racing, incredible hospitality. The Sella family and Oaklawn Park. This is America's Day at the Races. Happy holidays, everyone. Coverage brought to you in part by Hill & Dale at Alapa. And one left in Hot Springs. About to meet the field for this 10th race. Arkansas Bred's nice, easy handicapping endeavor to close the day.
Oh, sure.
Oh, sure.
A 4-1 favorite. Wide open. There's Spa City Girl. Daylight win on turf at Louisiana Downs in last September.
Was impressive on turf. Got a pedigree that actually says dirt will be okay. We'll see if it translates.
Street Painter should be involved early.
Yeah, and she returns to Arkansas Bred Company for the first time in a while. Both of those wins came at Oaklawn.
Miss Carroll County, idle since February. Morally complex, last 4 on grass.
I love the fact that her lone fast dirt effort was a win.
Gently, 4-1 tepid favorite.
Yeah, ran well on debut against Arkansas Breds. Broke her maiden at Delta and has more recency. Taking money for a reason.
Doubleday Issues, unraced since last May, followed by number 7, Ministry's Destiny, unraced since graduating in May.
Yeah, and coming off a good effort in the Rainbow Miss Stakes against Arkansas Breds.
Principal Anita would be a shock.
I'm just glad you glossed over number 6's name, Double Daddy Issues.
Double Daddy Issues. Freudian slip. Sthenic at 13-1. Then the Gray Gold Strategy won for 22 at Oaklawn Park.
Yeah, Gold Strategy turning back in distance here. It was a reclaim by Dan Ward. Got very good over the summer.
Queen Mallard, we saw Ron Moquette walking her around in the paddock.
Yeah, good speed here, and you know, Ron's a hands-on guy too.
Yeah, man.
He gets right involved.
Sending drawn outside.
Sending is not sending.
We check in with Megan standing by, and can you help us put together this tough puzzle that is the last race at Oaklawn, Megan?
Well, you're exactly right. This is a puzzle of a finale here at Oaklawn, and one with many coming off of layoffs. These Arkansas Breds, this is a great opportunity, a very lucrative purse there, that $115,000 up for grabs. But the number 11, Queen Mallard, on the outside there with Ron Moquette. Saw him right here. We had a little chat, and he said, she's cantankerous, and that she is. She is a handful, as you had mentioned, him taking a hold of her in the paddock, and one that does come off of that layoff since April, and she got the best of Gently. You see there 3-back going as the favorite, winning that day, and one that just makes sense in this group. She's one that, you know, have to ask those layoff questions, but I found that she looked fantastic physically. And typically I like to see injecting one of those races into them as far as the Moquette barn is concerned, but retains Evan Roman, who I have a world of respect for as a rider looking to get that win. And I had no issues with her. I just thought this was such a wide open group. She's got that far outside post. We know she's going to show some speed, and she's certainly on her toes from what it looks like. Very typical behavior of her in the paddock. But the number 1, Spa City Girl, another layoff contender, as these Arky breds can do. We haven't seen this horse since September of 2024 down in Louisiana on the turf. And I agree with Meg as far as her pedigree is concerned. It's not overly turf meant. Out of a Sea Prince dam, that was 2 for 6 sprinting on the dirt. And looking at her physically, I didn't think she was overtly turf either. I think she'll manage herself fine, but has to contend with that inside draw. Showed she was able to be tactical, though, drawing off to a very impressive debut win, but we haven't seen her in a while. I do think she's going to be one that's going to appreciate getting a start in her just from a fitness perspective. She's definitely got an engine on her, though. She's certainly where she is meant to be, sprinting there for Ernie Witt. But the number 5, Gently, is taking money for a reason from the Brett Calhoun barn, who is fond of this filly. Coming off of the bench and the way she did that extended time away and being able to put forth that performance last time out at the 5 furlongs down at Delta at the beach. And typically with horses coming in from Delta, it's a very different surface. It's very much different than the one at Oaklawn, and to see her be able to still run that strong race on debut back in December of 2024 encourages her getting back here to Oaklawn Park, shipping in for Brett, and one that I thought she looked incredibly fit. Now second off the time away. She got a race under her belt, one that she needed. She got it. And in terms of the recency edge on this group, I found her to be tough up there at 4-1 now, Lafitte.
In a kind of race, you can make a case for several runners, and so often is the case, Maggie. We're at Oaklawn for a big day, and at the very end of the day, it's one of these races, big field, full of Arkansas breds.
Oh, it's so fun. No, it really is. It's a challenge. It can be chaotic, and sometimes you can kind of, with my experience out there, you can kind of hone in on something that usually isn't applicable in general handicapping, you know, sentiments, and somehow it works with these Arkansas breds. Like, just liking a wet track, or just liking a rider, or something weird. So that's why I took a shot here with a long shot who has only sprinted on a fast main track once. It wasn't the fastest race, and it was in a maiden claimer, but against Open Company. She did win by 3.5 lengths, Morally Complex, and it just looks as though in her form cycle, at least on the turf, she's gotten faster. So I'm hoping she can be a little faster on the dirt, too.
And, Richie, spending all the time you did at Oaklawn last season, several months in Hot Springs, and watching these races, did you find any angles to work with, something you would lean on in terms of trying to zero in on the right runners in these Arkansas bred races?
You know, honestly, I don't think I hit on any strong formula. I will say that when horses are taking strong support at the windows, they tend to run well. That you know, obviously they've been training well enough where they've caught or garnered enough attention for their morning workouts. That's one thing I would lean on.
I mean, Gently, number 5, she did dominate in her last start coming in from Delta Downs. Watching her on track, she looks like a jack-in-the-box. Looks like they're winding and winding, and she's like bubbling and bubbling. So hopefully we'll see her be forward again. She comes out of 5/8 race.
What do you do with Spa City Girl? Number 1.
Yeah.
Attracts the likes of Francisco Arrieta to ride. She's up there at 7-1. Has not raced since September of 2024. That one race, a win, but on grass, you treat her like a first-time starter. She has the inside pull. Like, what do you do with her?
See, I think that makes it even more difficult, particularly with that elongated layoff. You know, well over a year, closing down on a year and a half, and you're on the inside, so you want to protect inside position. You don't want to get shuffled out of the race. But how much do you want to use her off of that kind of layoff?
Exactly.
That's a tough spot for Francisco Arrieta.
I could not agree more. Megan hinting at she probably needs a start. But on the flip side, she did win off of the longest layoff known in racing.
You know she can run well fresh.
And she was very impressive, I thought. You know, she broke well. She tracked the pace inside and tipped out and kicked on, destroyed that field at 16-1. But I agree, it's a tough situation to be in. And, you know, who knows? You have that unknown variable of will the dirt be the right answer? It seems though there's pedigree for it, but still, you don't know.
Right. It's a question, a big question.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Queen Mallard, 1-2 for trainer Ron Moquette, now emerging as the favorite at 3-1.
Yeah, listen, I think I took the easy way out here. I wanted someone that would be forward in a bulky field. She possesses natural speed. She's already shown she has ability. I'm a big Ron Moquette fan. You know, always knew who he was, became friends with him the time I spent down there. And I like her work tab coming into this.
literally his backyard, Oaklawn Park. Arkansas native Ron Moquette. See if he can register a win in this weekend nightcap with Queen Mallard. As the sun sets in Hot Springs one final time, we turn things over to Matt Ditterman with the call, the 10th and final from Oaklawn.
Morley Complex goes in. Gold Strategy. Next in will be Gently. Two back. Queen Mallard. Now there's two back. I actually didn't see one of them behind the gate, that being Double Daddy Issues to post 6. And Sending to the outside post. Here's Sending. We're ready to go in the finale. And we're off. In the nightcap, Queen Mallard blasts out of the gate, Gently taking the second spot. Here's Miss Carroll County moving forward. Queen Mallard with the lead. Miss Carroll County a bit eager, but Queen Mallard's got the front end. Sending is firing forward while eager. Queen Mallard, Sending, they're side by side down the backstretch run. They put 2 lengths on Gently, who's off the pace, running in third. Miss Carroll County to the inside. Street Painter is 5th. She's 4 off the pace. Ministry's Destiny on the outside going into the far turn. Spa City Girl right behind the leaders as they corner into that turn. There's a gap of 3 to Sthenic. Principal Anita is next in the group. Gold Strategy sent hard. Double Daddy Issues second to last. And the trailer is Morley Complex as they round the far turn. Queen Mallard with the lead. Queen Mallard coming to the top of the stretch. Puts a length and a half on Street Painter, who's coming on the scene into second. Miss Carroll County is third. They're off the turn. Queen Mallard down the lane, doing it well, leads by 2. Street Painter chasing hard in second. Queen Mallard 1 furlong to go. She's on the wrong lead, but she's holding on to the lead right now. Street Painter alongside. Queen Mallard, Street Painter gaining on Queen Mallard, who's trying, but Street Painter's got the edge close to home. Street Painter to win it. Photo for second. Gold Strategy. Queen Mallard involved in that photo. And then Ministry's Destiny.
The late surge. Street Painter as Queen Mallard gives it up. Christian Torres, Street Painter. She was 15 to 1 on the morning line. Not sure what she was at post time,
19.
but I'm sure she won.
She's 19 to 1.
19. You don't get Torres on those types of horses at that price right out there at Oaklawn.
What a perfect ride, too. I mean, that inside-out trip, the one horse stumbled a bit. He was able to assume that rail position, sit the pocket, come out when he needed to. That was a really nice ride.
He made the difference, to say the least.
Fun day of thoroughbred racing. Had a chance to see Steve Asmussen win that 1,000th victory at Oaklawn Park, and so glad you could be along with us for it all as we watch Bernie take charge. A machine at Aqueduct. 5 wins here at the Big A. A brave victory in the featured Bay Ridge. And at Oaklawn, an upset in the feature. Foie Gras, Ricardo Santana, 8-time champion jockey at Oaklawn Park. So many of those wins for Santana at Oaklawn. For that gentleman, Steve Asmussen with family celebrating his career 1,000th win in Hot Springs. Have a great night, everyone.